Becoming an IT professional starts with nailing your certifications. The CompTIA A+ is the first crucial step, but that Core 1 exam can be brutal to prepare for. Luckily, you've got this video. We'll cover practice questions across all 5 core domains so nothing catches you off guard on exam day. From mobile devices to cloud technologies, hardware to networking, this is your complete Core 1 prep. Let's get started. The first question is about a user with a laptop where certain keys are not responding at all. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the issue? A. The user has a virus affecting keyboard input. B. The keyboard language setting has been changed. C. The keyboard driver needs to be updated. D. The keyboard ribbon cable is loose. Best choice, D. The keyboard ribbon cable is loose. A loose keyboard ribbon cable would directly affect the functionality of certain keys. On the other hand, a virus, A, would likely cause more erratic and widespread issues, not just affect certain keys. Changing the keyboard language setting, B, might alter the input of multiple keys, but it wouldn't cause them to stop working altogether. Updating the keyboard driver, C, could potentially fix non-responsive keys, but it's more common to try this when all keys are non-responsive or if the keyboard isn't working properly after a system update, not when only certain keys are affected. 2. A technician upgraded a user's laptop RAM from 4 GB to 8 GB. After reboot, the system still reports 4 GB of memory. Which of the following should the technician try next? A. Update the laptop BIOS to the latest version. B. Test the new RAM stick in another laptop. C. Reseat both RAM modules and verify the clip lock. D. Replace the 4 GB RAM stick with a matching 8 GB stick. Best choice, C. Reseat both RAM modules and verify the clips lock. When a system fails to recognize newly installed RAM, a common cause is that the RAM modules are not properly seated in their slots. Reseating the RAM and ensuring the clips lock into place can often resolve this issue. Updating the BIOS, A, could potentially help if the current BIOS version doesn't support the new RAM, but it's a more complex and risky step that should be saved for when simpler solutions have been ruled out. Testing the new RAM stick in another laptop, B, could help determine if the RAM stick is faulty, but it's more likely that the RAM just needs to be properly seated. Replacing the 4 GB RAM stick with a matching 8 GB stick, D, would only be necessary if the system has a maximum RAM capacity of 4 GB per slot, and this would usually be known before the upgrade. 3. An employee travels frequently for work and uses hotel Wi-Fi networks. Lately, the employee has noticed much slower internet speeds. Which of the following would best help in this situation? A. Configure the laptop as a mobile hotspot to share the smartphone's internet. B. Tether the smartphone to the laptop to use as a wired connection. C. Enable the smartphone's NFC and tap devices to transfer files. D. Use a MiFi device connected to a 5G cellular network. Best choice, D. Use a MiFi device connected to a 5G cellular network. A MiFi device creates a personal hotspot using a cellular network, providing a dedicated and often more reliable internet connection than public Wi-Fi networks. This would be especially beneficial for someone who travels frequently and needs a dependable internet connection. Configuring the laptop as a mobile hotspot, A, or tethering the smartphone to the laptop, B, would use the smartphone's data, which could be limited and result in extra charges. Enabling the smartphone's NFC, C, would allow for file transfers between devices, but wouldn't improve internet speed. 4. A company issues smartphones to its employees and enables encryption along with remote wipe capabilities, through a centralized management system. An employee reports that she can no longer access any of her applications or stored data on her phone. Which of the following is the most likely reason? A. The OS certificate expired, causing encryption issues. B. The mobile device management profile was accidentally removed. C. Cellular data was disabled to prevent overage fees. D. The mobile device manager performed a remote wipe. Best choice, D. The mobile device manager performed a remote wipe. In this scenario, the inability to access any applications or stored data suggests that a remote wipe has been performed, which would remove all data and settings from the device. An expired OS certificate, A, or a removed mobile device management profile, B, would likely cause a range of issues, but not necessarily prevent access to all apps and data. Disabling cellular data, C, could prevent new data from being downloaded or uploaded without a Wi-Fi connection, but it wouldn't remove existing data or apps. Five, a user's smartphone battery drains from 100% to 20% in less than an hour of standby time. The most likely hardware issue is A, faulty digitizer causing constant input, B, swollen battery that needs replacement, C, fragmented storage drive due to OS issues, D, dust and debris causing overheating. Best choice, B, swollen battery that needs replacement. Rapid battery drain, especially during standby time, often points to a faulty or aging battery that needs replacement. A swollen battery is a clear sign of a battery issue. A faulty digitizer, A, could potentially cause increased battery drain, but it would typically cause other issues as well, like unresponsive or erratic touchscreen behavior. A fragmented storage drive, C, due to OS issues, could slow down the device, but wouldn't directly cause the battery to drain rapidly. Dust and debris causing overheating, D, could potentially affect battery life, but it would also likely cause the device to feel hot to the touch and possibly shut down unexpectedly. 6. Which of the following would allow a user to continue accessing email on a phone with a cracked screen that will take a week to replace? A. Enable voice control features. B. Activate keyboard and handwriting mode. C. Turn on the high contrast accessibility option. D. Connect a Bluetooth keyboard. Best choice, D. Connect a Bluetooth keyboard. Connecting a Bluetooth keyboard would allow the user to continue accessing and responding to emails even with a cracked screen, as they would be able to type and navigate using the keyboard. Enable voice control features, A, could potentially allow the user to open the email app and listen to emails, but it might be difficult to navigate and respond to emails, especially if the screen is severely cracked. Activating keyboard and handwriting mode, B, and turning on the high contrast accessibility option, C. Both rely on the screen being visible and responsive, which might not be the case with a cracked screen. 7. A technician has added a microSD card for additional storage on a smartphone. The user is still unable to save photos and videos to the device. The issue is most likely caused by which of the following? A. The smartphone does not support microSD cards. B. Airplane mode is preventing card access. C. The user exceeded cloud storage capacity. D. The default write location was not changed. Best choice, D. The default write location was not changed. If a microSD card has been added, but the user is still unable to save photos and videos to the device, it's likely that the default save location has not been changed to the microSD card. The phone might still be trying to save to its internal storage. The smartphone not supporting microSD cards, A, is unlikely, as the technician was able to add the card. Airplane mode, B, would not prevent access to the microSD card, as it only disables wireless communications. The user exceeding the cloud storage capacity, C, would not prevent saving to the device itself. Eight, a company issues tablet devices to its field workers who use them in a variety of environments, from construction sites to office meetings. The tablets often experience issues related to overheating, rapid battery drain, and slow performance. Which of the following would best address these issues? A, implement a policy requiring the use of ruggedized protective cases and screen protectors. B, regularly update the tablet's operating system and applications. C, implement geofencing restrictions to control where the tablets can be used. D, enable Find My Device, tracking and regularly backup data to the cloud. Best choice, B, regularly update the tablet's operating system and applications. In this scenario, the issues described, overheating, rapid battery drain, slow performance, are often related to software rather than hardware. Regular updates can help optimize the tablet's performance, fix bugs, and improve battery life. While ruggedized cases, A, can protect against physical damage, they wouldn't address these specific issues. Geofencing, C, and Find My Device tracking, D, are more about location tracking and data protection, not device performance. 9. Which of the following best describes the difference between a docking station and a port replicator for a mobile device? A, the docking station provides more USB ports. B, the replicator connects devices without cables. C, the docking station requires the device be powered off. D, the replicator provides additional ports and functionality. Best choice, D. The replicator provides additional ports and functionality. A port replicator is a type of docking station that provides additional ports for connecting peripherals, but it might also offer other features such as charging capabilities, additional storage, or even extra processing power. The main purpose of both a docking station and a port replicator is to expand the connectivity and functionality of a mobile device, but a port replicator generally provides more features. The number of USB ports, A, can vary between different models of both docking stations and port replicators. The ability to connect devices without cables, B, depends on the specific model and is not a defining characteristic of either. The need to power off the device, C, also depends on the specific model and is not a defining characteristic of either. Which of the following mobile OS settings would allow a user to disable GPS location but still access locally stored maps? A, enable airplane mode. B, turn off Find My Device. C, disable emergency location services. D, turn off location services. Best choice, D, turn off location services. Turning off location services would disable GPS location tracking, but it wouldn't prevent a user from accessing locally stored maps. Airplane mode, A, would disable all wireless communications, not just GPS. Turning off Find My Device, B, would disable the ability to locate the device if it's lost or stolen, but it wouldn't specifically disable GPS. Disabling emergency location services, C, would turn off location tracking for emergency services, but it wouldn't disable GPS altogether. A user reports that their smartphone battery drains much faster than usual. They also notice that the device feels hot even when not in use. Which of the following is the most likely cause of these issues? A, the device is infected with malware. B, the device's screen brightness is set too high. C, The device is in a weak signal area. D. The device's Bluetooth is left on. Best choice, A. The device is infected with malware. Malware can cause a device to run processes in the background without the user's knowledge, which can lead to rapid battery drain and overheating. While a high screen brightness, B, being in a weak signal area, C, or leaving Bluetooth on, D, can all contribute to battery drain, they are less likely to cause the device to feel hot when not in use. A user needs to connect a smartphone to a TV to display a presentation from the phone. Which of the following connections would accomplish this? A. Pair the smartphone via NFC. B. Connect a Bluetooth wireless adapter. C. Use a mobile HDTV tuner. D. Attach an MHL to HDMI cable. The correct answer is D. Attach an MHL to HDMI cable. This allows you to mirror your smartphone's display on the TV, making it suitable for displaying a presentation. The other options, NFC, Bluetooth, and mobile HDTV tuner, are not typically used for streaming video content from a phone to a TV. They either lack the necessary bandwidth, Bluetooth, or serve different purposes, NFC for data transfer, HDTV tuner for receiving TV signals. 13. A company allows employees to use personal phones for work under a BYOD policy. An employee cannot connect to the corporate wireless network. The issue is most likely caused by A. Incorrect SSID configured on the phone, B. Unsupported cellular wireless frequencies, C. Outdated inter-process communication, D. Disabled NFC preventing network access. The correct answer is A. Incorrect SSID configured on the phone. The SID, Service Set Identifier, is the name of a Wi-Fi network. If it's not correctly configured on the phone, the device won't be able to connect to the network. The other options are less likely because B cellular frequencies don't affect Wi-Fi connectivity. C inter-process communication is unrelated to Wi-Fi connectivity. D NFC, near-field communication, is used for close-range communication, not Wi-Fi connectivity. Which of the following keyboard issues would require replacement rather than cleaning or reseating cables? A. A keycap popped off during shipping. B. Dust and pet hair is causing missed keystrokes. C. A small spill seeped under several keys. D. User damage cracked the keyboard frame. The correct answer is D. User damage cracked the keyboard frame. A cracked frame is a physical damage that typically requires a replacement. The other options can usually be resolved without replacement. A popped off keycap can often be reattached. B. Dust and pet hair can be cleaned out. C. A small spill can sometimes be cleaned, though it depends on the extent of the spill. 15. A technician needs to replace a faulty laptop LCD panel. Which of the following components does the technician need to be mindful of when disassembling? Choose two best answers. A. Speaker wire integrity. B. Proper main battery disconnection. C. Avoiding damage to Wi-Fi wires. D. Securely reconnecting the webcam. The best answer is B. Proper main battery disconnection, and C. Avoiding damage to Wi-Fi wires. Disconnecting the main battery is crucial to avoid any electrical damage. Wi-Fi antennas are often located around the display area, and their wires could be damaged during disassembly. The other options are less critical. Speaker wires are usually not near the LCD panel. D. The webcam is often part of the LCD assembly, but careful disassembly can usually avoid damage. 16. A company requires that mobile hotspot capability be disabled on any smartphone that can access company data. The best solution is to A. Configure devices in supervised mode. B. Enable MAM without device enrollment. C. Develop a custom OS management profile. D. Integrate Cisco ISE for network access control. The best answer is A. Configure devices in supervised mode. In a supervised mode, administrators can have more control over the device, including the ability to restrict certain features like Mobile Hotspot 1. The other options are less likely to be the best solutions. B. MAM, Mobile Application Management. Without device enrollment, primarily manages apps, not device features. C. Developing a custom OS management profile can be complex and may not specifically disable hotspot. D. Cisco ISE, Identity Services Engine, is more about network access control, not disabling specific device features. (17) Configuring a kiosk browser allows a tablet to be used for which of the following purposes? A. Streamlining workflows through app limitation. B. Turning the device into an interactive digital sign. C. Securing access by disabling hardware controls. D. Simplifying the OS for easier navigation. The best answer is B. Turning the device into an interactive digital sign. A kiosk browser on a tablet can be used to display specific content continuously, making it suitable for use as an interactive digital sign. The other options are less likely to be the best solutions. A. Streamlining workflows through app limitation is more related to device management. C. Securing access by disabling hardware controls is a security feature, not a primary purpose of a kiosk browser. D. Simplifying the OS for easier navigation is not a typical use of a kiosk browser. 18. Which of the following configurations would a technician use to manage updates, apps, and security via an MDM server? Select 2. A. Multi-factor authentication policies. B. Samsung Knox enablement. C. Enrolling devices into management. D. Initiating an iCloud activation lock. The best answer is C. Enrolling devices into management and A. Multi-factor authentication policies. Enrolling devices into management is a fundamental step in using an MDM server. It allows the server to manage the device, including managing updates, apps, and security. Multi-factor authentication policies can be used to enhance the security of the devices managed by the MDM server. The other options are less likely to be the best solutions. B. Samsung. Knox enablement is specific to Samsung devices and not a general configuration for an MDM server. D. Initiating an iCloud activation lock is specific to Apple devices and is used for anti-theft purposes, not for managing updates, apps, and security via an MDM server. 19. A technician needs to replace a broken charge port on a mobile phone. Which of the following repairs would typically void the IP68 rating? A. Using original manufacturer parts. B. Powering down the device fully. C. Removing the back case of the device. D. Disconnecting and testing functionality. The best answer is C. Removing the back case of the device. Opening the device for any kind of repair, including removing the back case, can compromise the seals that provide the IP68 water and dust resistance. Even if the device is reassembled carefully, it's difficult to ensure the same level of resistance. The other options are less likely to void the IP68 rating. A. Using original manufacturer parts should not affect the rating, provided the device is assembled correctly. B. Powering down the device fully is a standard procedure before any repair and does not affect the IP68 rating. D. Disconnecting and testing functionality is part of the repair process and should not void the IP68 rating, assuming the device is reassembled correctly. 20. Which of the following accessories is the best solution to use a tablet while giving a presentation across the room? A. Wireless drawing pad. B. Portable projector. C. Bluetooth volume control. D. NFC-enabled remote clicker. The best answer is D. NFC-enabled remote clicker. A remote clicker can control the tablet from a distance, making it ideal for presentations across the room. The other options are less likely to be the best solutions. A. A wireless drawing pad is more for digital art, not controlling a presentation. B. A portable projector is used to display the presentation, but doesn't control the tablet. C. Bluetooth volume control adjusts the sound but doesn't navigate the presentation. 21. A manager issued mobile devices to a team and noticed data usage far exceeding their plan after a month. Which of the following solutions would best reduce costs? A. Lower refresh schedule for BYOD devices. B. Require all streaming to be done on Wi-Fi. C. Increase throttling limits for apps. D. Disable NFC file sharing. The best answer is B. Require all streaming to be done on Wi-Fi. Streaming can consume a significant amount of data. Requiring all streaming to be done on Wi-Fi can greatly reduce mobile data usage and thus costs. The other options are less likely to be the best solutions. A. Lowering the refresh schedule for BYOD, bring your own device. Devices can reduce data usage, but it might not have as significant an impact as limiting streaming. C. Increasing throttling limits for apps might increase data usage, as apps could use more data. D. NFC, near-field communication file sharing, typically doesn't use mobile data, so disabling it would not affect data usage. The first question concerns a scenario where you are a network technician for a large corporation launching a new application critical to its operations. The application necessitates the guaranteed delivery of data for correct functioning. As the technician responsible for setting up the network for this application, which protocol would you select to ensure data is transmitted reliably? A. HTTP, B. UDP, TCP, D. DNS. The best choice is C. TCP. The Transmission Control Protocol, TCP, ensures the reliable ordered delivery of a stream of bytes from a program on one computer to another program on another computer. A. HTTP. This is an application protocol for distributed, collaborative hypermedia information systems, not specifically designed for reliable data transmission. B. UDP. The User Datagram Protocol, UDP, is a simple transmission protocol without implicit handshaking dialogues for guaranteeing reliability or ordering. D. DNS. The Domain Name System, DNS, is a hierarchical and decentralized naming system for computers, services, or other resources connected to the internet or a private network. It's not a data transmission protocol. 2. Picture yourself as a network engineer for a tech company. You've been called in to troubleshoot a perplexing network issue. A client computer within the network can successfully initiate a session to a server, but the server remains unresponsive. As the engineer on duty, you suspect that a part of the TCP three-way handshake process might be failing. Which part do you think is likely causing the issue? A. Synchronize B. Synchronize acknowledge C. Acknowledge D. None of the above. The correct choice is B, synchronize acknowledge. This is the server's response to the client's synchronize request. If the server is unresponsive, it might be failing to send this synchronize acknowledge response back to the client. A, synchronize, the client's initial request. If this were failing, the client wouldn't be able to initiate a session. C, acknowledge, the client's final acknowledgement. If the server is unresponsive, it might not be reaching this step. D, none of the above. This option is incorrect because one of the steps in the TCP three-way handshake is likely causing the issue. 3. Imagine you're a user enjoying a live streaming video on your device. Suddenly you experience a brief interruption in the stream. As someone knowledgeable about network protocols, you realize that the protocol being used for the streaming media session might be the cause. Which protocol do you think is likely being used in this situation? A, TCP, B, UDP, C, HTTP, D, FTP. The correct choice is B, UDP. UDP is often used for live streaming where speed is important and a certain amount of data loss is acceptable. A, TCP, ensures reliable transmission of data but not typically used for live streaming due to its overhead of ensuring data reliability. C, HTTP, can be used for streaming but it's not a transport protocol. The interruption is more likely due to the transport protocol used. D, FTP, used for transferring files over a network, not for live streaming. 4. A network administrator needs to set up a protocol that prevents a sender from overwhelming a server by sending too many packets too quickly. Which protocol includes a method known as flow control to handle this issue? A, UDP, B, TCP, C, DNS, D, DHCP. The correct choice is B, TCP. TCP includes a method known as flow control, which prevents a sender from overwhelming a receiver by sending too many packets too quickly. A, UDP. This protocol does not have a flow control mechanism. C, DNS. This is a naming system for computers, services, or other resources connected to the internet or a private network. It doesn't handle flow control. D, DHCP. This protocol is used to assign IP addresses and other network configuration parameters to devices on a network. It doesn't handle flow control. 5. A user is setting up a web server at home. Which port should be open to the public at all times to ensure the server is accessible? A, 80, B, 443, C, 3515, D, 53. The correct choice is A80. Port 80 is the default port for HTTP traffic, which is commonly used for web servers. B443. This port is used for HTTPS traffic. If the server is using HTTPS, then this port should be open instead. C3515. This is not a standard port for web servers. D53. This port is used for DNS traffic, not for web servers. 6. A network engineer is troubleshooting a problem with a company's email server. The server is set up to use secure email transmission, but some clients are reporting that they cannot send emails. Which port on the server is likely not open? A25, B110, C143, D465. The correct choice is D465 SMTS. SMTPS, Secure SMTP, is used for secure email transmission. If clients cannot send emails, it's likely that this port is not open. A25 SMTP. This is used for email transmission, but it's not secure. B110 POP3. This is used for receiving emails, not sending. C143 IMAP. This is also used for receiving emails, not sending. 7. A network administrator is setting up a secure web server. Which protocol should be used to keep users' information private and prevent tampering and eavesdropping? A. HTTP, B. HTTPS, C. TCP/D UDP. The correct choice is B. HTTPS. HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, is a secure version of HTTP, which is the primary protocol used to send data between a web browser and a website. HTTPS is encrypted to increase the security of data transfer. This is particularly important when users transmit sensitive data, such as by logging into a bank account, email service, or health insurance provider. A. HTTP. This protocol is not secure, so it doesn't keep users' information private. C. TCP and D. UDP. These are transport protocols, not application-level protocols. They don't provide the level of security needed for a secure web server. 8. You're a network administrator, and your company has decided to implement a new VoIP system. The company's network is already congested, and they want to ensure that voice traffic is prioritized over other types of traffic. Which protocol should you recommend for this task? A. SMTP, B. POP3, C. IMAP, D. RTP. The correct choice is D. RTP. The Real-Time Transport Protocol, RTP, is designed for the delivery of audio and video data, making it suitable for VoIP systems. A. SMTP, B. POP3, and C. IMAP. These are mail protocols, not suitable for prioritizing voice traffic in a VoIP system. 9. You're a network administrator setting up an email server for a company that has employees working in different time zones. The employees need to access their emails from multiple devices and have their actions like deleting or moving emails synced across all devices. For the configuration of this email server that needs to handle incoming emails, which protocol is the right choice? A. SMTP, B. POP3, C. IMAP, D. FTP. The best choice is C. IMAP. IMAP allows users to access their email from any device and syncs their actions across all devices. SMTP is used for sending emails, not receiving or syncing. POP3 downloads emails to one device and removes them from the server, which doesn't allow syncing. FTP is used for file transfers, not email handling. When dealing with a file transfer issue where the client can't connect to the FTP server, which port on the server is likely not open? A21, B22, C25, D110. The correct choice is A21. FTP, File Transfer Protocol, typically uses port 21 for command and control. B22 is used for SH and SFTP, not FTP. C25 is used for SMTP, an email protocol. D110 is used for POP3, another email protocol. 11. A user needs to remotely control a computer and exchange data on a secured channel. Which protocol should be used? A. SMTP, B. POP3, C. IMAP, D. SH. The best choice is D. SH. SH, Secure Shell, is used for securely accessing and controlling remote systems. A. SMTP, B. POP3, and C. IMAP are email protocols, not used for remote control of systems. 12. A network administrator is setting up a network. Which protocol should be used to automatically assign IP addresses, subnet masks, gateway addresses, and DNS servers from a central location? A. DHCP, B. DNS, C. LDAP, D. RDP. The best choice is A, DHCP. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is used to automatically assign network configurations. B, DNS translates domain names to IP addresses, not assign them. C, LDAP is used for accessing and maintaining distributed directory information, not for network configurations. D, RDP is used for remote desktop connections, not for assigning network configurations. 13. A company has a network with a DHCP server, DNS server, LDAP server, and several machines that employees access. One day, employees report they can't access the machines remotely, but they can still access the internet, and their login credentials work on other systems. Which server is most likely experiencing issues? A, DHCP server, B, DNS server, C, LDAP server, D, RDP server. The correct choice is D, RDP server. RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol, is used for remote access. If employees can't access machines remotely but other services are working, the issue is likely with the RDP server. A, DHCP assigns IP addresses but internet access indicates it's working. B, DNS translates domain names to IP addresses but internet access indicates it's working. C, LDAP is used for accessing and maintaining distributed directory information, but successful logins on other systems indicate it's working. Setting up a Windows domain involves accessing and maintaining distributed directories of information. Which protocol would be suitable for this task? A, DHCP, B, DNS, C, LDAP, D, RDP. The correct choice is C, LDAP. LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, is used for accessing and maintaining distributed directory information, which is needed when setting up a Windows domain. A, DHCP is used for assigning IP addresses, not for directory services. B, DNS is used for domain name resolution, not for directory services. D, RDP is used for remote desktop connections, not for directory services. A support specialist needs to troubleshoot a problem on a client's computer, but they are not physically present at the location. They need to control the client's computer remotely. Which protocol should they use for this purpose? A, DHCP, B, DNS, C, LDAP, D, RDP. The correct choice is D, RDP. RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol, is used for remote control of systems, which is needed for troubleshooting a client's computer remotely. A, DHCP is used for assigning IP addresses, not for remote control. B, DNS translates domain names to IP addresses, not for remote control. C, LDAP is used for accessing and maintaining distributed directory information, not for remote control. 16. A network administrator is setting up a network. Which protocol should be used to provide access to shared items, such as files and printers? A, SMB, B, SNMP, C, FTP, D, HTTP. The correct choice is A, SMB. SMB, Server Message Block, is a protocol for sharing files, printers, and other items on a network. B, SNMP is used for managing devices on IP networks, not for sharing items. C, FTP is used for transferring files between systems, but not specifically for sharing items within a network. D, HTTP is used for transmitting hypertext over the internet, not for sharing items on a network. A network specialist is tasked with overseeing the devices on a network. They need to manage and monitor these devices effectively. Which protocol is typically used for this purpose? A, SMB, B, SNMP, C, FTP, D, HTTP. The correct choice is SNMP. Simple Network Management Protocol is used for managing and monitoring devices on a network. ASMB is used for sharing files and printers on a network, not for device management. CFTP is used for transferring files between systems, not for device management. DHCP is used for transmitting hypertext over the internet, not for device management. An individual is having trouble dispatching emails from their email application. Which protocol is likely experiencing issues? A. SMTP, B. DNS, C. DHCP, D. POP3. The protocol likely experiencing issues is A. SMTP. SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is the standard protocol for sending emails across the internet. If an individual is having trouble dispatching emails, it's likely that there are issues with SMTP. Other protocols like DNS, DHCP, and POP3 are not directly involved in the email dispatch process. DNS is used for domain name resolution, DHCP for network configuration, and POP3 for receiving emails. So they would not typically cause issues with sending emails. 19. A network engineer is tasked with establishing a network. They need to connect computers in a wired manner. Which device would be the best choice for this task? A. Router, B. Switch, C. Access point, D. Firewall. The best choice is B. Switch. A switch is used to connect multiple devices on a computer network by using packet switching to receive, process, and forward data to the destination device. A. Router is used to connect multiple networks and route network traffic. C. Access point is used for connecting wireless devices to a network. D. Firewall is used for network security, not for connecting devices. 20. In a scenario where a network specialist is overseeing devices on a network and needs to control settings and manage network traffic, which device would be suitable for this task? A. Managed switch, B. Unmanaged switch, C. Access point, D. Firewall. The best choice is A. Managed switch. A managed switch allows for greater control over your network and is used to manage network traffic, control settings, and provide advanced features. B. Unmanaged switch doesn't allow for configuration or management. C. Access point is used for connecting wireless devices to a network. D. Firewall is used for network security, not for managing network traffic or controlling settings. 21. Establishing a home network requires a device that allows LAN devices to communicate without any manual intervention. Which device would be the best choice for this task? A. Managed switch, B. Unmanaged switch, C. Access point, D. Firewall. The best choice is B. Unmanaged switch. An unmanaged switch allows LAN devices to communicate with each other automatically without needing manual intervention. A managed switch provides more control and features, but requires manual configuration. C. Access point is used for connecting wireless devices to a network. D. Firewall is used for network security, not for connecting devices. 22. If a network is being set up and there's a need to prevent network loops, which protocol would be the most suitable choice? ASTP, Spanning Tree Protocol, B. SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, C. Syslog, System Logging Protocol, D. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. The correct choice is A. STP, Spanning Tree Protocol. STP is designed to prevent network loops in Ethernet networks. B. SNMP is used for managing devices on IP networks, not for preventing network loops. C. syslog is used for message logging, not for preventing network loops. D. DHCP is used for assigning IP addresses, not for preventing network loops. 23. In the task of connecting two or more networks to create an internetwork, which device would be the most suitable choice? A. Switch, B. Router, C. Access point, D. Firewall. The best choice is B. Router. A router is used to connect multiple networks and route network traffic, making it the most suitable choice for creating an internetwork. A switch is used to connect devices within a single network, not multiple networks. C. Access point is used for connecting wireless devices to a network. D. Firewall is used for network security, not for connecting networks. (24) A technician is setting up a network. Which device enables data communications over the air when a computer is equipped with a wireless networking adapter? A. Switch, B. Router, C. Wireless access point, D. Firewall. The correct choice is C. Wireless access point. A wireless access point enables data communications over the air for devices equipped with a wireless networking adapter. A switch and B router are typically used for wired connections. D firewall is used for network security, not for enabling wireless communications. (25) In the context of network security, which of the following statements is true? A. A firewall only protects a network from incoming traffic. B. An intrusion detection system, IDS, can block potential threats. C. A router inherently provides protection against DDoS attacks. D. A network intrusion prevention system, NIPS, can detect and prevent malicious network activity in real time. The correct choice is D. A network intrusion prevention system, NIPS, can detect and prevent malicious network activity in real time. NIPS monitors the network for malicious activity or policy violations and can actively block or prevent those activities. A firewall protects a network from both incoming and outgoing traffic based on predefined security rules. BIDS can detect potential threats but typically doesn't have the capability to block them. C router doesn't inherently provide protection against DDoS attacks. Additional security measures are needed for that. 26. A network administrator is setting up a home network. Which device allows a computer or a network to access the internet? A. Cable DSL modem. B. Network interface device, NID. C. Optical network terminal, ONT. D. Software defined networking, SDN. The correct choice is A. Cable DSL modem. A cable DSL modem is a device that provides access to the internet. B. NID is a device that connects a consumer's telephone line to the telephone network, not the internet. CONT is used in a fiber optic network, not typically in a home network. DSDN is a network architecture approach, not a device for internet access. (27) A technician is installing a device at the perimeter of a customer's premises. This device is the connection point between a provider's cabling and the customer's cabling. What is this device called? A. Cable DSL modem. B. Network interface device, NID. C. Optical network terminal, ONT. D. Software defined networking, SDN. The correct choice is B. Network interface device, NID. A NID is a device installed at the customer's premises that serves as the demarcation point between the provider's cabling and the customer's on-premises wiring. A cable DSL modem is used for internet access, not as a connection point between provider and customer cabling. CompTIA is used in a fiber optic network, not typically as a connection point between provider and customer cabling. DSDN is a network architecture approach, not a device for connecting provider and customer cabling. 28. A network administrator is setting up a network. Which type of centralized network management separates the data that is transmitted by network devices from the administration of those devices? A cable, DSL modem, B network interface device, NID, C optical network terminal, ONT, D software defined networking, SDN. The correct choice is D software defined networking, SDN. SDN is a network architecture approach that separates the network control plane, administration of devices, from the forwarding plane, data transmission, allowing for centralized network management. A cable, DSL modem, B NID, and C ONT are network devices, not a type of network management that separates data transmission from device administration. 29. A tech startup is designing a new data center architecture to improve network management and agility. They decide to implement software-defined networking, SDN, for dynamic and efficient network configuration. Which protocol, commonly associated with SDN, should they consider integrating into their design? A. HTTP, B. FTP, C. OpenFlow, D. TCP. The correct choice is C, OpenFlow. OpenFlow is a protocol that is often associated with SDN. It allows direct access to and manipulation of the forwarding plane of network devices, such as switches and routers, both physical and virtual, hypervisor-based. HTTP and BFTP are protocols used for data transfer over the internet, not for SDN. DTCP is a transport layer protocol in the Internet Protocol Suite, not specifically associated with SDN. You are the network administrator for a growing company that is setting up a new branch office. You need to design a local area network, LAN, that not only connects all the computers in the office, but also provides robust security and efficient data traffic management. Which two devices would you most likely use, and what additional feature should each device ideally have? A. Router with built-in firewall capabilities. B. Switch with quality of service QoS support. C. Access point with dual band support. D. Firewall with deep packet inspection. The two devices you would most likely use are 1. A router with built-in firewall capabilities. The router connects the office network to the internet, and the built-in firewall provides a first line of defense against cyber threats by controlling incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. 2. B. Switch with quality of service QoS support. The switch connects all the computers in the office, creating a network. The QoS support allows for efficient data traffic management by prioritizing certain types of data traffic to ensure high-quality performance for critical applications. And that's it for our networking domain deep dive. Up next, we're tackling the hardware domain. Stay tuned, keep learning, and let's ace the CompTIA A+ together. The first question is about a user who reports that their laptop runs slowly, even right after booting up. After troubleshooting, you determine that the hard drive is failing. You need to replace the hard drive. The laptop currently has a 2.5 inches SATA hard drive. Which of the following would be the best replacement drive? A. 2.5 inches hard drive, 5,400 revolutions per minute, SATA, B 2.5 inches SSD SATA drive, CM 2 SATA SSD drive, D 3.5 inches hard drive, 7,200 revolutions per minute SATA. The best replacement drive would be B 2.5 inches SSD SATA drive. This is the best choice because SSDs are much faster than traditional hard drives, leading to quicker boot times and faster data access. The 2.5 inches size and SATA interface match the existing drive, ensuring compatibility with the laptop. A 2.5 inches hard drive, 5,400 revolutions per minute SATA. This would work as it matches the size and interface of the existing drive. However, it wouldn't improve the laptop's performance as it's a traditional hard drive. CM2 SATA SSD drive. While this is an SSD, the M2 form factor may not fit in a laptop designed for a 2.5 inches drive. D 3.5 inches hard drive, 7,200 revolutions per minute SATA. This drive is too large to fit in a laptop, which typically uses 2.5 inches drives. Despite the faster RPM, it's still a traditional hard drive and wouldn't provide the performance boost of an SSD. 2. You are installing memory in a desktop computer. The motherboard has 4 memory slots and supports up to 64 GB of quad-channel DDR4 memory. 2 of the slots are occupied with 8 GB DDR4 RAM sticks. What memory configuration would maximize performance? A. Install 2 8 GB sticks in the empty slots. B. Install 2 16 GB sticks in the empty slots. C. Install 1 8 GB and 1 16 GB stick in the empty slots. D. The current configuration maximizes performance. The memory configuration that would maximize performance is A. Install 2 8 GB sticks in the empty slots. This is the best choice because it maintains the symmetry of the memory configuration, which is crucial for maximizing the performance of a quad-channel memory architecture. B. Install 2 16 GB sticks in the empty slots. This would increase the total memory, but it might not maximize performance because the memory sticks are not identical, which is recommended for a quad-channel configuration. C. Install 1 8 GB and 1 16 GB stick in the empty slots. This would not maximize performance because the memory sticks are not identical, which is recommended for a quad-channel configuration. D. The current configuration maximizes performance. This is not the best choice because there are still 2 empty memory slots that could be utilized to increase performance. Three. A user reports that their inkjet printer is leaving streaks on printouts. Which of the following maintenance steps should you try first to resolve the issue? A. Clean the printer heads. B. Replace the ink cartridges. C. Calibrate the printer. D. Clear any paper jams. The first maintenance step to resolve the issue should be A. Clean the printer heads. This is the best first step because streaks on printouts are often caused by clogged or dirty printer heads. Cleaning the printer heads can often resolve this issue. B. Replace the ink cartridges. While replacing the ink cartridges could potentially solve the problem if the ink cartridges are empty or faulty, it's not the best first step. It's more costly and may not be necessary if the issue is due to dirty or clogged printer heads. C. Calibrate the printer. Calibration is typically done to improve color accuracy and print quality. However, it's not likely to resolve streaking issues, which are often due to dirty or clogged printer heads. D. Clear any paper jams. Paper jams would cause the printer to stop working altogether, not leave streaks on printouts. Therefore, clearing paper jams would not resolve the streaking issue. 4. You are selecting a new power supply for a computer. The system will have standard components with the following power connectors: 24-pin motherboard connector, 6-pin PCIe connector, two 6+2 pin PCIe connectors. Which of the following power supplies would be appropriate for this system? A. 500 watts with 24 pin, 2 6+2 pin, and 1 6-pin connector. B. 650 watts with 24 pin and 4 6+2 pin connectors. C. 750 watts with 24 pin and 6 6-pin connectors. D. 800 watts with 24 pin, 2 6-pin, and 2 6+2 pin connectors. The appropriate power supply for this system would be A. 500 watts with 24 pin, 2 6+2 pin, and 1 6-pin connector. This is the best choice because it matches the required connectors for the system: one 24-pin motherboard connector, one 6-pin PCIe connector, and two 6+2 pin PCIe connectors. B. 650 watts with 24-pin and 4 6+2 pin connectors. This power supply has the necessary 24-pin motherboard connector and 6+2 pin PCIe connectors, but it lacks the 6-pin PCIe connector. C. 750 watts with 24-pin and 6 6-pin connectors. This power supply has the necessary 24-pin motherboard connector and 6-pin PCIe connector, but it lacks the 6+2 pin PCIe connectors. D. 800 watts with 24-pin, 2 6-pin, and 2 6+2 pin connectors. This power supply has all the necessary connectors, but it's not the best choice because it provides more power than necessary, which could lead to unnecessary energy consumption and cost. Five. A user reports that their desktop computer will not power on. You open the computer case and verify that the power supply switch is turned on. You replace the power cable going into the power supply, but the computer still does not start. What should you try next? A. Test the power outlet with a multimeter. B. Replace the power supply. C. Reset the CMOS battery. D. Reseat the CPU. The best choice is A. Test the power outlet with a multimeter. This is the most logical next step. Before replacing any components, it's important to ensure the power source functions correctly. A multimeter can be used to verify this. B. Replace the power supply. This could be a potential solution if the power supply is faulty. However, it's a more drastic and costly measure that should be considered only after ruling out simpler possibilities like a faulty power outlet. C. Reset the CMOS battery. Resetting the CMOS battery is typically done when dealing with BIOS-related issues. It's unlikely to help when the computer is not powering on at all. D. Reseat the CPU. Reseating the CPU is a complex task that should be done only when there are clear indications of CPU-related issues. It's not a typical solution for power-related problems. 6. Which of the following windows? 10 display settings directly affects the size of text, apps, and other items on your screen? A. Multiple displays set to extend these displays. B. Resolution set to the highest native resolution of both monitors. C. Scale and layout set to 100% scaling for both monitors. D. Brightness is calibrated equally on both monitors. The best choice is C. Scale and layout set to 100% scaling for both monitors as it directly affects the size of text, apps, and other items on your screen. A. Extend these displays is for using both monitors as one display, not for matching display appearances. B. Setting the highest native resolution doesn't ensure matching displays, especially if monitors have different native resolutions. D. Calibrating brightness equally helps match the brightness level, but doesn't affect the size of items on the screen. Seven. A desktop computer with 4 hard drive bays uses RAID 5 with 4 2TB hard drives. One of the hard drives fails. Which of the following replacements would allow the RAID 5 array to rebuild? A. Two 1 terabyte hard drives. B. One 2 terabyte hard drive. C. One 4 terabyte hard drive. D. One 8 terabyte hard drive. The best answer is 1 2 TB hard drive. It's the perfect match for the existing drives in the array. The other options, they fall short. Two 1 terabyte hard drives won't fit in one bay. A 4 terabyte or 8 terabyte hard drive would technically work, but the extra space would be wasted, as RAID 5 uses the size of the smallest disk. So the user, with their new 2 terabyte hard drive, can successfully rebuild their RAID 5 array. 8. Which type of cable uses light rather than electricity for data transmission? A. Coaxial. B. Twisted pair. C. Fiber optic. D. Category 5. The answer shines bright. C. Fiber optic. This cable type uses light pulses to transmit data, making it unique among the options. As for the others, A. Coaxial and B. Twisted pair cables, along with D. Category 5, a type of twisted pair cable, all use electrical signals for data transmission, not light. So, with a fiber optic cable, data travels at the speed of light. 9. What is the maximum rated data transfer speed for Category 6 network cable? A. 100 megabits per second. B. 1 gigabytes per second. C. 10 gigabytes per second. D. 100 gigabytes per second. The answer is C. 10 gigabytes per second. A Category 6 cable can deliver this speed, but it's important to note that this speed is achievable up to a distance of 180 feet, equivalent to 55 meters. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A. 100 megabits per second and B. 1 gigabytes per second are below the maximum speed of a Category 6 cable. D. 100 gigabytes per second exceeds the capabilities of a Category 6 cable. So, with a Category 6 cable, data can zip along at speeds up to 10 gigabytes per second. 10. An administrator needs to connect a computer and a printer located 25 feet apart. Which of the following solutions would work best for this situation? A. USB 2.0 cable. B. USB 3.0 cable with an active repeater. C. Thunderbolt 3 cable. D. HDMI cable. The answer is clear. B. USB 3.0 cable with an active repeater. This solution is designed to maintain signal integrity over longer distances, making it suitable for a 25 feet connection. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A. USB 2.0 cables typically have a maximum length of 5 meters, or 16.4 feet. C. Thunderbolt 3 and D. HDMI cables are not typically used for printer connections, so with a USB 3.0 cable with an active repeater, the administrator can bridge the gap and connect the computer and printer even at 25 feet. 11. What connector type typically uses 8 conductors and can support speeds up to 10 Gbps? A. RJ11, B. RJ45, C. DB9 serial, D. USB Type-C. The answer is B. RJ45. This connector type is commonly used with Ethernet cables like Cat6, which can technically support speeds up to 10 Gbps. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A. RJ11 and C. DB9 serial connectors are not designed for such high-speed data transmission. D. USB Type-C, while capable of high-speed data transfer, does not typically use 8 conductors, so with an RJ45 connector, data can zip along at speeds up to 10 Gbps. 12. What is the maximum frequency bandwidth supported by Category 6 a cable? A. 100 MHz, B. 250 MHz, C, 350 MHz, D, 500 MHz. The answer is D, 500 MHz. This is the maximum frequency bandwidth that a Category 6A cable can support. The other options don't quite hit the mark. A, 100 MHz, B, 250 MHz, and C, 350 MHz are all below the maximum frequency bandwidth of a Category 6A cable. So, with a Category 6A cable, data can zip along at frequencies up to 500 MHz. A network administrator is preparing to install cabling in a new office building. The building's design includes spaces for air circulation in the ceiling and under the floor. What type of twisted pair cable should be installed? A, PVC jacket cable, B, PE jacket cable, C, plenum rated cable, D, shielded twisted pair. The best choice is C, plenum rated cable. These cables are fire resistant and don't emit toxic fumes when burned, making them ideal for air circulation spaces. A, PVC jacket cable and B, PE jacket cable can release toxic fumes when burned, making them unsuitable for plenum spaces. D, shielded twisted pair reduces electromagnetic interference but doesn't affect suitability for plenum spaces, which is determined by the fire resistance and low smoke production of the cable jacket material. So, for plenum cabling, plenum rated cable is the best choice. 14. What connector uses PCB board edge fingers to connect expansion cards to the motherboard? A, Molex, B, AGP, C, PCIe, D, SATA. The correct choice is C, PCIe. This is a high-speed standard that uses PCB board edge fingers to connect expansion cards, like graphics cards and hard drives, to the motherboard. A, Molex. Molex connectors are used in electronics including computers, but they don't use PCB board edge fingers for connections. B, AGP. AGP is an older type of expansion slot for 3D graphics, now largely replaced by PCIe. D, SATA. SATA is a bus interface that connects storage devices to the system, but it doesn't use PCB board edge fingers for connections. 15. An administrator needs to connect a legacy VGA display to a newer desktop computer. The computer has multiple output ports including HDMI, DisplayPort, DVI, and Thunderbolt. However, the administrator wants to use an adapter that can carry both video and audio signals. What type of adapter will allow this connectivity? A, DisplayPort to VGA, B, HDMI to VGA, C, DVI to VGA, D, Thunderbolt to VGA. The best choice is B, HDMI to VGA. HDMI can carry both audio and video signals, and an HDMI to VGA adapter would allow video connectivity. However, because VGA does not support audio, the audio signal would need to be routed separately. Now let's consider why the other options are not the best fit. A, DisplayPort to VGA. DisplayPort can carry both audio and video signals, but VGA does not support audio. See DVI to VGA. DVI typically does not carry an audio signal. D, Thunderbolt to VGA. Thunderbolt can carry audio and video signals, but VGA does not support audio. While DisplayPort and Thunderbolt support audio and video, their VGA adapters often lack audio support. HDMI to VGA adapters, however, commonly include audio. 16. What type of cable commonly uses an LC connector on both ends? A, coaxial, B, twisted pair, C, fiber optic, D, VGA. The best choice is C, fiber optic. LC connectors, short for lucent connectors, are commonly used in fiber optic cables. They were developed by Lucent Technologies as a small form factor solution to fiber optic connections. An LC-LC fiber patch cable, which has two LC fiber connectors terminated at both ends, is the most commonly used fiber optic cable type in the industry. A coaxial and B twisted pair cables typically use different types of connectors, such as BNC for coaxial and RJ45 for twisted pair, not LC connectors. D VGA is a type of analog video connection that uses a 15-pin connector, not an LC connector. A network administrator is installing new patch panels and wall jacks in an office. The cabling contractor has wired all connections using T568A standards. What issue may occur if the patch panels are terminated with T568B? A. The transmit and receive pairs will be reversed. B. Electromagnetic interference will increase. C. Only 4 of the 8 conductors will work. D speeds will be limited to 100 megabits per second. The best choice is A. The transmit and receive pairs will be reversed. If one end of a cable is wired using the T568A standard and the other end is wired using the T568B standard, it results in a crossover cable. In a crossover cable, the transmit and receive pairs are reversed, which can cause connectivity issues if the devices connected via that wiring are not capable of auto detection and auto correction. B. Electromagnetic interference will increase. The wiring standards T568A and T568B do not affect electromagnetic interference. C. Only 4 of the 8 conductors will work. Both T568A and T568B use all 8 conductors, so this would not be an issue. D speeds will be limited to 100 megabits per second. The speed limitation is not determined by the wiring standard, but by the category of the cable and the equipment used. An administrator needs to run temporary network cabling along the floor of a conference room to connect devices for a special event. Which type of network cabling can lie directly on the floor? A. PVC jacket cable. B. Unshielded twisted pair. C. Shielded twisted pair. D. Plenum rated cable. The best choice is A. PVC jacket cable. PVC, or polyvinyl chloride, is a type of plastic used in the jacket of some network cables. It's durable and flexible, making it suitable for temporary setups, where the cable might need to lie directly on the floor. B. Unshielded twisted pair. And C. Shielded twisted pair refer to the type of cable construction and shielding, not the material of the cable jacket. While these cables could technically lie on the floor, they might not be as durable as PVC jacket cables for this kind of use. D. Plenum rated cable is designed for use in plenum spaces, areas used for air circulation in buildings, due to its fire-resistant properties. It's typically more expensive and not necessary for temporary setups where the cable lies on the floor. 19. How many conductors does standard RJ45 cabling use to connect devices on a TCP IP network? A4, B6, C8, D12. The best choice is C8. Standard RJ45 cabling, also known as 8P8C, 8 position, 8 contact, uses 8 individual wires or conductors to connect devices on a TCP IP network. These 8 wires are typically arranged in 4 twisted pairs inside the cable. Each pair serves as a channel through which data can be transmitted. 20. A user reports slow network performance when connecting devices with existing RJ11 telephone cabling in a small office. Which limitation is causing the speed issues? A. RJ11 only uses 4 conductors. B. RJ11 does not support full duplex. C. RJ11 cable length limits are only 30 meters. D. RJ11 connectors do not securely fit RJ45 ports. The best choice is A. RJ11 only uses 4 conductors. RJ11 connectors typically use 4 conductors, which can limit the data transfer rates, potentially leading to slow network performance. RJ11 is more commonly used for low-speed data transfer applications, such as telephony or low-speed serial communication. BRJ11 does not support full duplex. While it's true that RJ11 does not support full duplex, this is not typically the cause of slow network performance. RJ11 cable length limits are only 30 meters. The length of the RJ11 cable can affect the signal quality, but it's not the primary reason for slow network performance. RJ11 connectors do not securely fit RJ45 ports. While it's true that RJ11 connectors do not fit securely in RJ45 ports, this would result in no connection at all rather than slow network performance. (21) A network administrator must run new Ethernet cabling between 2 wiring closets on separate floors of an office building. What is the maximum distance the cable can run using standard UTP? A. 30 meters. B. 50 meters. C. 100 meters. D. 125 meters. The best choice is C. 100 meters. Standard UTP unshielded twisted pair. Ethernet cabling, such as Cat5e and Cat6, has a maximum length of 100 meters or 328 feet. This length includes both the horizontal cable length between the device and the patch panel, and the vertical cable length between floors or rooms. If you need to connect devices that are farther apart, you may need to consider using switches or other networking devices to extend the reach of your network. 22. An administrator is installing network infrastructure equipment in a data center. The room uses a raised floor for airflow, and the cables will run near multiple electrical devices. Which type of network cabling would be most suitable for this environment? A. UTP, unshielded twisted pair. B. SDP, shielded twisted pair. C. Plenum rated cable. D. Cat5. The correct answer is B. STP, shielded twisted pair. This type of cable is designed to reduce electromagnetic interference, which can be a concern when cables are running near multiple electrical devices. UTP, unshielded twisted pair. While this is a common type of network cabling, it lacks the shielding that STP has, making it less suitable in environments with potential electromagnetic interference. Plenum rated cable. This type of cable is designed for use in air circulation spaces, but it doesn't specifically address electromagnetic interference. Cat5. This is a category of UTP cables, and like UTP, it lacks the shielding to reduce electromagnetic interference. 23. Users in a small office report very slow network performance. Upon investigation, the administrator discovers existing telephone cabling being used to connect VoIP phones is also being used for computer network connectivity. What disadvantage of UTP cabling is likely causing the poor performance? A. Length limitations. B. Lack of shielding. C. Fire risk. D. Difficulty with cable management. The correct answer is B. Lack of shielding. UTP, unshielded twisted pair, cables are more susceptible to radio frequency interference, RFI, and electromagnetic interference, EMI, especially when they are running near multiple electrical devices. This can degrade network performance. A. Length limitations. While UTP cables do have length limitations, this is typically not an issue in a small office environment. C. Fire risk. UTP cables do not pose a higher fire risk than other types of cables. D. Difficulty with cable management. While cable management can be a challenge with any type of cabling, it is not a specific disadvantage of UTP cables. 24. A network administrator must run new cabling between two buildings on a corporate campus. The buildings are 1,000 feet, 305 meters apart. Which cabling type can transmit this distance without requiring a repeater? A. Cat5e UTP. B. Multimode fiber optic cable. C. RG59 coaxial cable. D. Cat6 ASTP. The correct answer is B. Multimode fiber optic cable. This type of cable can transmit data over long distances, well beyond the 1,000 feet specified in the question. ACAT5E UTP. This type of cable has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. C. RG59 coaxial cable. While this type of cable can transmit data over longer distances than UTP, it's not typically used for distances as long as 1,000 feet. D. Cat6 ASTP. Like Cat5e, this type of cable also has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. (25) A cable technician needs to ground new RG6 cabling and equipment in a wiring closet. What must be grounded before terminating the new cabling? A. The building's electrical system. B. The cable modem. C. The patch panels and racks. D. The workstations. The correct answer is C. The patch panels and racks. When terminating RG6 cabling, the patch panels and racks should be grounded first. A. The building's electrical system. While it's important that the building's electrical system is properly grounded, it's not specifically related to the termination of new cabling. B. The cable modem. The cable modem doesn't need to be grounded before terminating the new cabling. D. The workstations. Workstations are typically grounded through their power cords and don't need to be grounded before terminating the new cabling. (26) An administrator must extend the range of a Wi-Fi access point in a warehouse to provide connectivity for mobile devices. What type of cabling could transmit the AP's signal the farthest distance? A. Cat6 UTP. B. Multimode fiber. C. Coaxial with quad shielding. D. Plenum rated STP. The correct answer is B. Multimode fiber. This type of cable can transmit data over long distances, well beyond the range of the other cable types listed. ACAT6 UTP. While this is a common type of network cabling, it has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. C. Coaxial with quad shielding. Coaxial cables can handle greater cable lengths between network devices than twisted pair cables, but not as long as fiber optic cables. D. Plenum rated STP. Like Cat6, this type of cable also has a maximum distance of about 100 meters, 328 feet. 27. An administrator is running new fiber optic cabling between two buildings on a corporate campus that are 850 meters, 0.5 miles, apart. Which type of fiber optic cabling should be used? A. Multimode. B. Single mode. C. Ohm-1 cable. D. Ohm-4 cable. The correct answer is B. Single mode. This type of fiber optic cable can transmit data over long distances, well beyond the 850 meters specified in the question. A. Multimode. While multimode fiber optic cables can transmit data over distances, they are typically used for shorter distances. For example, an OM1 cable can support 1000 base SX out to 275 meters. See Ohm-1 cable. This type of multi-mode fiber optic cable can support 1 gigabit Ethernet, GBE, 1000 base SX up to 275 meters. D. OM4 cable. This type of multi-mode fiber optic cable can carry 10 gigabit Ethernet up to 400 meters. 28. A network technician needs to terminate the multi-mode fiber optic cable in a patch panel. Which connector types are commonly used for this purpose? A. F-type and BNC. B. RJ11 and RJ45. C. SC and LC. D. DisplayPort and DVI. The correct answer is CSC and LC. These are common types of connectors used for terminating multi-mode fiber optic cables, AF-type and BNC. These are types of coaxial cable connectors, not typically used with fiber optic cables. B. RJ11 and RJ45. These are types of connectors used with twisted pair cables, not typically used with fiber optic cables. D. DisplayPort and DVI. These are types of video connectors, not typically used with fiber optic cables. (29) A network administrator needs to connect two buildings that are 100 meters apart. The connection needs to support a minimum data rate of 1 Gbps. Which type of cabling should the administrator use? A. Cat5e twisted pair. B. Single mode fiber optic. C. HDMI cable. D. Coaxial RG6. In this question, the best choice is B. Single mode fiber optic. This is because single mode fiber optic cables can support high data rates and can transmit data over long distances, making them suitable for connecting two buildings that are 100 meters apart. The other options, A, C, and D, are not typically used for such applications due to their limitations in distance and/or data rate. (30) An administrator must connect a new VoIP phone that only supports USB 2.0 to a desktop computer. What is the maximum data transfer rate between the phone and computer? A. 12 megabits per second. B. 480 megabits per second. C. 5 Gbps. D. 10 Gbps. The best choice is B. 480 megabits per second. This is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 2.0. A. 12 megabits per second is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 1.1, not USB 2.0. C. 5 Gbps is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 3.0, not USB 2.0. And D. 10 Gbps is the maximum data transfer rate for USB 3.1, not USB 2.0. And that wraps up our deep dive into the hardware domain. The first question is about a company's plan to maximize security by implementing virtual desktop infrastructure, VDI. The IT administrator is evaluating different cloud deployment models for this purpose. Which of the following options is the administrator most likely to choose? A. Public cloud. B. Private cloud. C. Hybrid cloud. D. Community cloud. The optimal choice is C. Hybrid cloud. It combines the security of a private cloud with the scalability and cost-effectiveness of a public cloud. This allows for flexibility in managing sensitive data and adhering to international data privacy laws. While public clouds are scalable but less secure, private clouds offer high security but at a higher cost. Community clouds, shared among similar organizations, may lack the control or scalability a hybrid cloud offers. Two, a software development company is looking for a solution that allows its developers to quickly create environments for testing new code deployments. Which service would be most suitable for this requirement? A. IaaS, B. SaaS, C. PaaS, D. Public cloud. The optimal choice is C. PaaS. PaaS, or Platform as a Service, provides a ready-to-use environment ideal for developers to quickly create testing environments. In contrast, IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service, provides infrastructure like virtual machines and networks, but not a ready-to-use testing environment. B. SaaS, or Software as a Service, provides software applications on a subscription basis, not a testing environment. D. Public cloud is a type of hosting that's accessible to the public, but doesn't inherently provide a testing platform. Three, an organization has a workforce that is constantly on the move. Employees need to access and modify certain files from various devices and locations. When a change is made on one device, it should be reflected across all other devices. Which characteristic of cloud computing best supports this requirement? A. Elasticity, B. Metered utilization, C. Broad network access, D. Shared resources. The best choice is C. Broad network access. Broad network access allows employees to access and modify files from various devices and locations. Changes made on one device are reflected across all others. Here's a brief about the other choices. A. Elasticity refers to the ability to quickly adjust resources to meet demand. B. Metered utilization refers to the pay-as-you-go model where usage is tracked and billed. D. Shared resources refers to the pooling of resources to serve multiple consumers. 4. A company wants to virtualize legacy OS and software so it can be accessed from different platforms. Which purpose of virtual machines best fits this scenario? A. Sandbox. B. Application virtualization. C. Cross-platform virtualization. D. Test development. The optimal choice is B. Application virtualization. It abstracts applications from the OS, allowing legacy software to run on any platform. In contrast, A. Sandbox, a testing environment that isolates untested code changes. C. Cross-platform virtualization allows software to run on multiple OS, but doesn't virtualize a legacy OS. D. Test development creates virtual environments for testing new developments, not for running legacy systems. 5. A rapidly growing software startup needs to deploy its new web application to the cloud. The application is expected to experience significant fluctuations in user traffic, with peak periods requiring much higher processing power and memory than average levels. Additionally, the company prioritizes data security and compliance with specific industry regulations. Considering these factors, which cloud model deployment strategy would be the most suitable and why? A. Public cloud with horizontal scaling. B. Private cloud with dedicated resources. C. Hybrid cloud with containerization. D. Serverless computing with auto-scaling. The optimal choice is D. Serverless computing with auto-scaling. It adjusts resources automatically to meet fluctuating demand and ensures optimal performance during peak periods. It also provides robust security features and compliance with industry regulations. In contrast, A. Public cloud with horizontal scaling can handle traffic fluctuations but may not meet security and compliance needs. B. Private cloud with dedicated resources offers high security and compliance but may not efficiently handle traffic fluctuations. C. Hybrid cloud with containerization offers flexibility and security, but managing auto-scaling might be more complex. 6. A company is looking for a way to streamline its software development process. They want their developers to focus on writing and testing code without having to manage the underlying infrastructure. They also want to ensure that the environment is scalable and can handle multiple development projects at once. Which cloud service model would be the most suitable for this requirement? A. IaaS, B. SaaS, D. Private cloud. The best choice is C. CompTIA A. It provides a ready-to-use environment for developers to build and test applications, handling multiple projects simultaneously. In contrast, A. IaaS provides infrastructure, but not a ready-to-use environment for application development. B. SaaS provides software applications on a subscription basis, not a testing environment. D. Private cloud offers scalability and self-service through a proprietary architecture, but doesn't inherently provide a platform for application development. Seven. A company needs to migrate its e-commerce platform to the cloud while ensuring compliance with strict data privacy regulations. They require the public cloud's scalability to handle fluctuating online traffic, but remain hesitant to store sensitive customer data outside their control. Which cloud deployment strategy best balances these needs? A. Pure public cloud with data encryption. B. Pure private cloud. C. Hybrid cloud with data segregation. D. Community cloud specifically for retail businesses. The optimal choice is C. Hybrid cloud with data segregation. It offers the public cloud's scalability for fluctuating traffic and the private cloud's control of sensitive data. In contrast, A. Pure public cloud with data encryption offers scalability and encryption, but may lack control over sensitive data. B. Pure private cloud provides control and compliance, but may not handle traffic fluctuations efficiently. D. Community cloud for retail businesses. Shared infrastructure among similar organizations, but may lack control or scalability of a hybrid cloud. 8. Which cloud characteristic allows services to scale resources up and down based on usage demands? A. Rapid elasticity. B. Shared resources. C. High availability. D. Metered utilization. The best choice is A. Rapid elasticity. It allows cloud services to quickly scale up or down based on demand. In contrast, B. Shared resources refers to the pooling of resources to serve multiple consumers. C. High availability refers to systems that operate continuously without failure. D. Metered utilization refers to the pay-as-you-go model where usage is tracked and billed. 9. In the context of cloud computing, which characteristic allows for the automatic adjustment of resources to meet fluctuating workload demands? A. Resource consolidation. B. Broad network access. C. On-demand self-service. D. Scalability. The right answer is D. Scalability. It's the cloud's ability to adjust resources to meet demand. The other options are A. Resource consolidation, using one system for multiple services. B. Broad network access. Services are available over the network. And C. On-demand self-service. Users can provision computing capabilities as needed. 10. An organization wants to implement desktop virtualization so employees can access their desktops from any device. This would be an example of A. IaaS, B. SaaS, C. VDI, D. PaaS. The right answer is C. VDI, which allows remote access to desktops. The other options are A. IaaS, offering virtual computing resources. B. SaaS, delivering applications via the internet. And D. PaaS, a platform for developing and managing applications. (11) A cloud provider groups servers and infrastructure together to be used in an on-demand and highly scalable way by multiple customers. This is an example of A. Rapid elasticity, B. Resource pooling, C. High availability, D. Measured services. The right answer is B. Resource pooling, which groups servers and infrastructure for multiple customers. The other options are A. Rapid elasticity, scaling resources based on demand. C. High availability, ensuring operational performance. D. Measured services, optimizing resource use with metering. (12) A company switches from locally hosted email to web-based email through the browser. This is an example of which service model? A. IaaS, B. SaaS, C. PaaS, D. Private cloud. The right answer is B. SaaS, which delivers applications like email over the internet. The other options are A. IaaS, offering virtual computing resources. C. PaaS, a platform for developing and managing applications. D. Private cloud, a cloud service not shared with other organizations. (13) Which type of cloud environment is characterized by services offered over the internet, available to anyone who wants to use or purchase them, and is maintained on third-party servers? A. Multi-tenancy cloud, B. Distributed cloud, C. Public cloud, D. Intercloud. The right answer is C. Public cloud, which offers services over the internet, accessible to anyone, and maintained by third parties. The other options are A. Multi-tenancy cloud, a single software instance serving multiple tenants. B. Distributed cloud, a public cloud service running on devices in different locations. D. Intercloud, a connected global cloud of clouds. (14) In the context of cloud computing, which term refers to the dynamic provisioning and deprovisioning of resources to match the current demand without manual intervention? A. Autonomous scaling, B. Demand-driven distribution, C. Rapid elasticity, D. Dynamic resource allocation. The right answer is C. Rapid elasticity, which allows quick scaling of resources based on demand. The other options are A. Autonomous scaling, not a standard term in cloud computing. B. Demand-driven distribution, not specifically about scaling. D. Dynamic resource allocation, a broader term involving other aspects of resource management. (15) A software development company wants to provide its developers with a platform that includes the operating system, middleware, and runtime environment, allowing them to focus solely on writing the code. Which type of service is the company looking to use? Infrastructure as a service, IaaS. B. Software as a service, SaaS. C. Virtual desktop infrastructure, VDI. D. Platform as a service, PS. The correct choice is D. Platform as a service, PaaS. PaaS provides a ready-to-use platform including the operating system, middleware, and runtime, enabling developers to focus on coding. Briefly on the other options: A. IaaS offers virtual computing resources. B. SaaS delivers applications via the internet. C. VDI hosts desktop operating systems on a centralized server. 16. A multinational organization has recently migrated its services to a cloud environment. The nature of their business demands 24/7 uptime with real-time access to services, even in the event of a system failure or during routine maintenance. Additionally, they require the system to automatically recover from failures without any manual intervention and to maintain service availability during updates. Which of the following cloud computing characteristics best describes these requirements? A. File synchronization. B. Shared resources. C. High availability. D. Rapid elasticity. The best choice is C. High availability. High availability in cloud computing refers to a system or component that is continuously operational for a desirably long length of time. It ensures an agreed level of operational performance, usually uptime, for a higher than normal period. For the other choices, A. File synchronization allows files to be stored in multiple locations and ensures that all copies of the file are updated when changes are made. B. Shared resources refers to the pooling of physical and virtual resources that are used by multiple users. D. Rapid elasticity is the ability of a cloud system to scale resources up or down quickly and easily to meet demand. (17) Using virtual machine software to run multiple operating systems simultaneously on a single computer provides which key benefit? A. Improved security. B. Faster performance. C. Lower cost. D. Testing environment. The correct choice is D. Testing environment. Virtual machines provide an ideal testing environment by allowing multiple operating systems to run simultaneously on a single computer. The other options, A. Improved security, B. Faster performance, and C. Lower cost, are not the key benefits of this setup. (18) What type of hypervisor runs directly on server hardware for faster performance? A. Type 1, B. Type 2, C. Native, D. Hosted. The correct choice is A. Type 1. Type 1 or bare metal hypervisors run directly on the host's hardware, offering faster performance. The other options, B. Type 2, C. Native, and D. Hosted, are not typically associated with this level of performance. (19) A company needs to virtualize an old custom software application that only runs on Windows XP. What is the best purpose for using virtualization in this case? A. Sandbox testing. B. Legacy software support. C. Application development. D. Server consolidation. The best choice is B. Legacy software support. Legacy software support is a key benefit of virtualization. It allows older software that may not be compatible with newer operating systems to continue to function in a virtual environment. For the other choices, A. Sandbox testing. While virtualization can provide a safe environment for testing, it's not the primary need in this scenario. C. Application development. Virtualization can be used for application development, but it's not the main requirement here. D. Server consolidation. This is a common use of virtualization to reduce hardware costs, but it's not the focus in this case. (20) An administrator runs multiple virtual machines on a Windows 10 desktop using VMware Workstation. This is an example of which kind of hypervisor? A. Type 1, B. Type 2, C. Native, D. Hosted. The best choice is B, Type 2. VMware Workstation is an example of a Type 2 hypervisor. It runs on an existing operating system, in this case Windows 10, to manage and run virtual machines. For the other choices, A, Type 1, this type of hypervisor runs directly on the host's hardware. It's not the case here, as VMware Workstation is running on Windows 10. C, Native. This is not a type of hypervisor. It might refer to software or applications that are written to run on a specific platform. D, Hosted. This is not a type of hypervisor. It might refer to services or resources that are provided over the internet. 21. After an operating system update, a company's critical application stopped working. The IT administrator decides to run the legacy app in a virtual machine with an older OS. This scenario best demonstrates virtualization being used for A, sandbox testing, B, legacy software support, C, application development, D, server consolidation. The correct choice is B, legacy software support, which refers to using virtualization to run older applications that aren't compatible with newer operating systems. The other options are A, sandbox testing. This involves using virtualization to create a safe, isolated environment for testing new software or configurations. C, application development. Here, virtualization can be used to create different environments for developing and testing new applications. D, server consolidation. This refers to the use of virtualization to combine multiple servers onto fewer physical devices, saving costs and resources. 22. A company needs to simulate different network environments to test a new custom software they are developing. The solution that provides this testing environment is A, application virtualization, B, legacy OS virtualization, C, cross-platform virtualization, D, sandbox testing. The correct choice is D, sandbox testing, which refers to using virtualization to create an isolated, controlled environment for testing purposes. The other options are A, application virtualization. This involves running an application separate from the underlying operating system. B, legacy OS virtualization. This refers to running older operating systems in a virtual environment. C, cross-platform virtualization. This involves running software across multiple operating system platforms. 23. A software developer wants to test an application on multiple operating systems without having to install each OS on separate physical hardware. The best virtualization solution for this is A, application virtualization, B, legacy OS virtualization, C, cross-platform virtualization, D, VDI. The correct choice is C, cross-platform virtualization, which allows software to be tested across multiple operating system platforms without needing separate physical hardware. The other options are A, application virtualization. This involves running an application separate from the underlying operating system. B, legacy OS virtualization. This refers to running older operating systems in a virtual environment. D, VDI, virtual desktop infrastructure. This involves hosting a desktop operating system within a virtual machine running on a centralized server. (24) You are working with multiple virtual machines within a host. You want these VMs to communicate with each other but not beyond the host. Which network connection type should you choose? A, bridged networking, B, network address translation innate, C, private networking, D, no networking. The correct choice is C, private networking. This type of network connection allows VMs to communicate with each other within the same host, but not beyond it. The other options are A. Bridged networking. This connects a virtual machine to a network using the host computer's Ethernet adapter. B. Network address translation, NAT. This allows a virtual machine to access network resources using the IP address of the host. D. No networking. This isolates the virtual machine from the network and the host. 25. A software developer needs to test how a new application performs when running on older Windows operating systems. The developer decides to utilize virtual machines to test Windows XP, Windows 7, and Windows 8. What is the primary purpose being served by virtualization in this scenario? A. Legacy OS support. B. Sandbox testing. C. Cross-platform testing. D. Improved security. The optimal choice here is A. Legacy OS support. This is because the developer is specifically testing the application on older or legacy Windows systems. Let's briefly consider the other options. B. Sandbox testing typically involves testing in a controlled or isolated environment, which isn't specified in this scenario. C. Cross-platform testing would mean testing across different operating systems, such as Windows, Linux, or macOS. In this case, the developer is only testing different versions of Windows, not different platforms. Lastly, D. Improved security can be a benefit of virtualization, but the scenario doesn't indicate that enhancing security is the primary goal of the developer's use of virtualization. 26. A company recently upgraded all employee laptops to Windows 11. However, a few employees need to use some custom engineering software that is incompatible with Windows 11. The IT administrator implements virtual machines running Windows 10 only for those employee laptops. What is the purpose of using virtualization in this case? A. Application development. B. Legacy software support. C. Server consolidation. D. Testing environment. The correct choice is B. Legacy software support. The company is using virtualization to run an older version of Windows, Windows 10, on the new laptops. This allows the employees to continue using the custom engineering software that isn't compatible with Windows 11. A. Application development. This involves using virtualization for developing and testing new applications. However, in this scenario, the focus is on running existing software, not developing new ones. C. Server consolidation. This refers to the practice of using a single server to run multiple virtual machines to maximize resources. This scenario is about running a specific software on employee laptops, not about server management. D. Testing environment. While virtualization can be used to create a controlled environment for testing, the scenario doesn't indicate that testing is the primary purpose here. The focus is on supporting legacy software. 27. A small business wants to implement virtualization to support some legacy software on a few Windows 10 desktops. Their budget is limited, so free solutions are preferred. Which Type 2 hypervisor software should they utilize? A. VMware vSphere. B. Microsoft Hyper-V. C. Oracle VM VirtualBox. D. Citrix XenServer. The most suitable choice in this scenario is C. Oracle VM VirtualBox. This is because Oracle VM VirtualBox is a free and open source hypervisor, which makes it an ideal solution for a small business with a limited budget. It allows the creation of virtual machines running different operating systems, which is perfect for supporting legacy software on Windows 10 desktops. Now let's briefly consider the other options. A. VMware vSphere, and D. Citrix. XenServer are both Type 1 hypervisors and are typically used in enterprise environments. However, they are not free. which doesn't align with the business's preference for a free solution. As for B, Microsoft Hyper-V, it's a Type 1 hypervisor included with Windows Server and some versions of Windows 10, but it's not free for all versions of Windows, making it less suitable for the business's needs. (28) A network administrator wants to reduce the number of physical servers in their data center. They decide to implement virtualization to consolidate multiple servers onto a single physical machine. Which of the following is the primary benefit they are seeking from virtualization in this scenario? A. Improved application performance. B. Reduced hardware costs. C. Enhanced network security. D. Faster software development. In this scenario, the most suitable choice is B, reduced hardware costs. The network administrator is aiming to consolidate multiple servers onto a single physical machine through virtualization. This approach can significantly cut down on the costs associated with purchasing, maintaining, and powering physical servers. A. Improved application performance can sometimes be a benefit of virtualization, but it's not the primary goal in this scenario. C. Enhanced network security can also be a byproduct of virtualization due to the isolation it provides, but again, it's not the main objective here. Lastly, D. Faster software development can be facilitated by virtualization as it provides developers with isolated environments for testing and debugging. However, this scenario is focused on server consolidation, not software development. 29. A technician enabled Hyper-V on a Windows 10 desktop and wants to create a new Linux virtual machine for testing. Which steps need to be taken after the VM is created in Hyper-V Manager? A. Configure virtual switch only. B. Install OS ISO file and configure hardware. C. Enable virtualization in UEFI first. D. Import existing virtual disk file. The correct choice is B, install OS ISO file and configure hardware. After creating a new virtual machine in Hyper-V Manager, the next steps are to install the operating system from an ISO file and configure the virtual hardware according to the requirements of the Linux distribution being installed. A. Configure virtual switch only. While configuring a virtual switch is an important part of setting up network connectivity for a VM, it's not the only step needed after creating a VM. C. Enable virtualization in UEFI first. Enabling virtualization in the UEFI or BIOS is a prerequisite for using Hyper-V, so it would have been done before the VM was created. D. Import existing virtual disk file. This is an option if you're migrating a VM or duplicating an existing one, but it's not the typical next step after creating a new VM. 30. An administrator wants employees to be able to access some legacy software that only runs on Windows 7. The company computers have all been upgraded to Windows 10 Pro. Which features need to be enabled first before creating Windows 7 VMs in Hyper-V? A. TPM and Secure Boot. B. Virtualization support and SLAT. C. DP and NX bit. D. IOMU and page tables. The correct choice is B, virtualization support and SLAT, second level address translation. Before you can create and run virtual machines with Hyper-V, you need to ensure that virtualization support is enabled in the BIOS or UEFI settings of the host computer. Additionally, Hyper-V requires a processor with SLAT capabilities for efficient memory management, A, TPM, and Secure Boot. These are security features that can enhance the security of the host system and virtual machines, but they are not prerequisites for creating VMs in Hyper-V. C, DP and NX bit, data execution prevention, DP, and no execute bit, NX bit, are security features that can prevent harmful code from running in protected memory areas. While these features can enhance security, they are not prerequisites for creating VMs in Hyper-V. D. IOMU and page tables. IOMU, Input-Output Memory Management Unit, and page tables are related to memory management and device I/O in virtualized environments. While important for performance and functionality, they are not prerequisites for creating VMs in Hyper-V. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out our next video on hardware and network troubleshooting. The first question is about you as a system administrator, faced with a workstation that fails to boot. During the power on self-test, post, an error is detected and the computer emits 2 beeps repeatedly. What is the most probable cause of this issue? A. Failure of the power supply. B. Failure of the video adapter. C. Failure of the memory. D. Failure of the CPU. The most probable cause of this issue is C. Failure of the memory. Beep codes are used by the BIOS during the post to report certain initial system errors. If you're hearing 2 beeps, the motherboard is likely reporting a memory error. A. Failure of the power supply. A power supply failure wouldn't typically cause the computer to emit beep codes. The system would likely not power on at all. B. Failure of the video adapter. While a video adapter failure could potentially cause beep codes, it's less likely to be the cause if the code is specifically 2 beeps. D. Failure of the CPU. A CPU failure could cause a variety of issues, including beep codes, but 2 beeps are typically associated with memory errors. 2. You have established a theory that a user's computer will not boot due to a failed hard drive. Which of the following should be your next step according to the troubleshooting process? A. Document the findings and potential solution. B. Test the theory by attempting to boot from a bootable USB drive. C. Implement a plan to replace the hard drive and reinstall the operating system. D. Research online forums for additional troubleshooting steps related to boot issues. The best choice is B. Test the theory by attempting to boot from a bootable USB drive. Once a theory has been established, the next step in the troubleshooting process is to test that theory. A. Document the findings and potential solution. Documentation is an important part of the process, but it typically comes after testing and verifying the theory. C. Implement a plan to replace the hard drive and reinstall the operating system. This could be a potential solution, but it's not the next step. The theory should be tested first. D. Research online forums for additional troubleshooting steps related to boot issues. While research can be helpful, it's not the next step after establishing a theory. The theory should be tested first. 3. You have resolved an issue where a user's computer was overheating due to a failing CPU fan. Which of the following preventive measures aligns with the troubleshooting methodology? A. Enable automatic Windows updates to keep drivers and software up to date. B. Schedule regular cleanings of the computer's interior to prevent dust buildup. C. Upgrade the computer's RAM to improve overall system performance. D. Implement a policy to shut down computers when not in use to reduce heat generation. The best choice is B. Schedule regular cleanings of the computer's interior to prevent dust buildup. Regular cleaning can help prevent dust from clogging the fans and causing overheating, which aligns with preventive maintenance in the troubleshooting methodology. A. Enable automatic Windows updates to keep drivers and software up to date. While this is a good practice, it doesn't directly prevent overheating issues. C. Upgrade the computer's RAM to improve overall system performance. This could improve performance, but it doesn't directly prevent overheating. D. Implement a policy to shut down computers when not in use to reduce heat generation. While this could reduce heat generation, it doesn't address the root cause of the overheating issue, which is often dust buildup or hardware failure. 4. Which of the following is part of step 5 in the 6-step troubleshooting methodology? A. Identify the problem. B. Document findings. C. Establish a new theory. D. Implement preventive measures. D. Implement preventive measures is indeed the right answer. As per the 6-step CompTIA A+ troubleshooting methodology, step 5 involves verifying full system functionality and, if applicable, implementing preventive measures. This step ensures that the solution has completely resolved the issue and the system is functioning as expected. It also includes taking preventive measures to avoid the recurrence of the same problem in the future. The other options are not aligned with step 5. A. Identify the problem. This is the first step in the troubleshooting methodology where the problem is identified based on the symptoms. B. Document findings. This is a part of step 6, which is the final step in the methodology. It involves documenting everything about the problem and the steps taken to resolve it. C. Establish a new theory. This is a part of step 2, where a theory of probable cause is established based on the initial analysis of the problem. 5. You have determined that the SATA controller on a motherboard has failed. Which of these would be the best solution? A. Install a separate PCIe SATA controller card and disable the integrated controller. B. Replace the entire motherboard due to the component failure. C. Flash the BIOS to see if it resolves the controller issue. D. Upgrade the CPU to a newer model that has an updated SATA controller. The best solution is A. Install a separate PCIe SATA controller card and disable the integrated controller. This allows you to bypass the failed SATA controller on the motherboard without having to replace the entire motherboard, which can be costly and time-consuming. B. Replace the entire motherboard due to the component failure. This is a more drastic and expensive solution. It's typically reserved for when multiple components have failed or the motherboard is outdated. C. Flash the BIOS to see if it resolves the controller issue. While updating the BIOS can resolve some issues, it's unlikely to fix a hardware failure like a faulty SATA controller. D. Upgrade the CPU to a newer model that has an updated SATA controller. The CPU doesn't have a SATA controller, so this wouldn't resolve the issue. 6. While working on a computer, you notice the CMOS battery has discharged completely. Which of the following is the likely impact? A. The computer will continuously reboot during post. B. The BIOS settings and system time date will reset to defaults. C. The motherboard capacitors will become swollen and distended. D. The CPU and RAM will not be recognized by the system. The likely impact is B. The BIOS settings and system time date will reset to defaults. The CMOS battery powers the CMOS memory, which stores BIOS settings and system time date. If the battery discharges completely, this information will be lost and reset to defaults upon reboot. A. The computer will continuously reboot during post. While a discharged CMOS battery can cause issues, continuous rebooting during post is not a typical symptom. C. The motherboard capacitors will become swollen and distended. A discharged CMOS battery won't cause physical changes to the motherboard capacitors. D. The CPU and RAM will not be recognized by the system. While BIOS settings can affect system recognition of hardware, a discharged CMOS battery typically doesn't cause the system to fail to recognize the CPU and RAM. 7. You are troubleshooting a computer that powers on, but there is no post, display output, or drive activity. Which of these should you check first? A. Ensure the CPU is installed properly and making full contact. B. Verify the heatsink is securely fastened to the CPU. C. Check that the CPU fan is connected and spinning. D. All of the above. best choice is D, all of the above. When a computer powers on but there is no post, display output, or drive activity, it's important to check all components related to the boot process. A. Ensure the CPU is installed properly and making full contact. An improperly seated CPU can prevent the computer from booting. B. Verify the heatsink is securely fastened to the CPU. An improperly fastened heatsink can cause the CPU to overheat and shut down to prevent damage. C. Check that the CPU fan is connected and spinning. If the CPU fan isn't working, the CPU can overheat, causing the computer to shut down to protect itself. 8. A user complains about a grinding noise coming from inside their desktop computer. Which of the following is the most likely cause and resolution? A. Failing hard drive. Replace the hard drive. B. Distended capacitor on motherboard. Replace motherboard. C. Cable touching CPU fan. Reroute internal cables. D. Overheating CPU. Reapply thermal compound. The most likely cause and resolution is C. Cable touching CPU fan. Reroute internal cables. A grinding noise often indicates a physical obstruction, and a loose cable can come into contact with the spinning blades of the CPU fan. A. Failing hard drive. Replace the hard drive. While a failing hard drive can make noise, it's usually more of a clicking sound than a grinding noise. B. Distended capacitor on motherboard. Replace motherboard. A distended capacitor might cause the system to fail, but it wouldn't typically cause a grinding noise. D. Overheating CPU. Reapply thermal compound. An overheating CPU can cause the system to shut down or behave erratically, but it wouldn't cause a grinding noise. 9. A user reports that they occasionally receive a blue screen of death, BSOD, when running certain applications. Which of the following is the most likely cause? A. Incompatible or faulty RAM. B. Insufficient CPU power. C. Outdated BIOS firmware. D. Loose cables touching fans. The most likely cause is A. Incompatible or faulty RAM. A BSOD can often be caused by memory issues, especially when it occurs while running certain applications that may be demanding on the system's memory. B. Insufficient CPU power. While this could cause system instability, it's less likely to cause a BSOD than memory issues. C. Outdated BIOS firmware. Outdated BIOS firmware can cause a variety of issues, but it's not the most common cause of a BSOD. D. Loose cables touching fans. This would typically cause a physical obstruction or noise, not a BSOD. 10. You're troubleshooting a computer that will not boot at all. The power supply fan spins, but there are no beeps or displays. Which of these steps should you try first? A. Reseat the RAM modules and ensure they are properly installed. B. Update the BIOS to the latest version. C. Replace the CPU with a new compatible processor. D. Check that the video card is seated correctly. The first step you should try is A. Reseat the RAM modules and ensure they are properly installed. If the RAM is not properly seated or installed, it can prevent the computer from booting. B. Update the BIOS to the latest version. While this can resolve some issues, it's not the first step you should take, especially since the computer is not booting at all. C. Replace the CPU with a new compatible processor. This is a drastic step that should only be taken after other possibilities have been ruled out. D. Check that the video card is seated correctly. While a poorly seated video card can cause display issues, it wouldn't typically prevent the computer from booting. 11. The BIOS indicates an incorrect amount of installed RAM. Which of the following could potentially resolve this issue? A. Load BIOS default settings. B. Flash the BIOS to the latest version. C. Purchase higher capacity RAM modules. D. Both A and B. The correct answer is D. Both A and BA load BIOS default settings. This can potentially resolve the issue if the BIOS settings were incorrectly configured. B. Flash the BIOS to the latest version. An outdated BIOS may not correctly recognize the installed RAM, so updating it could resolve the issue. Option C. Purchasing higher capacity RAM modules would not necessarily resolve an issue of the BIOS incorrectly reporting the installed RAM. Always remember, it's important to diagnose and address the root cause of the issue rather than just upgrading components. 12. You are using a power supply tester and notice there are no lights illuminated for the 12-volt rail on the 24-pin ATX connector. What should your next step be? A. Replace the 24-pin ATX power cable if the power supply is modular. B. Replace the entire power supply unit. C. Check for any loose connections on the 24-pin cable. D. Update the BIOS firmware on the motherboard. The best next step is B. Replace the entire power supply unit. If there are no lights illuminated for the 12-volt rail on the 24-pin ATX connector, it indicates that the power supply unit, PSU, is not providing the necessary power, which is a sign of a faulty PSU. A. Replace the 24-pin ATX power cable if the power supply is modular. While this could potentially solve the issue if the cable is faulty, it's less likely than a faulty PSU. C. Check for any loose connections on the 24-pin cable. This is always a good first step in troubleshooting power issues. But if the power supply tester shows no lights for the 12-volt rail, it's likely a PSU issue. D. Update the BIOS firmware on the motherboard. This wouldn't resolve a power supply issue. BIOS updates are typically related to improving hardware compatibility and fixing bugs. 13. A user reports that their computer shuts down intermittently, and you suspect it may be a power supply issue. Which of the following steps should you take first? A. Ensure all power connections are secure. B. Replace the case fans for improved airflow. C. Check for any capacitor swelling on the motherboard. D. Update to a higher wattage power supply. The first step you should take is A. Ensure all power connections are secure. Loose or improper power connections can cause intermittent shutdowns. It's a simple and non-invasive check that can often resolve the issue. B. Replace the case fans for improved airflow. While improved airflow can help prevent overheating, it's not the first step you should take if you suspect a power supply issue. C. Check for any capacitor swelling on the motherboard. Swollen capacitors can cause a variety of issues, but they're not typically associated with intermittent shutdowns. D. Update to a higher wattage power supply. This could potentially resolve power issues, but it's a more drastic step that should only be taken after other possibilities have been ruled out. 14. You notice the power supply fan in a computer is not spinning at all. Which of the following is the recommended course of action? A. Attempt to replace just the power supply fan. B. Replace the entire power supply unit. C. Use compressed air to clean out any dust in the fan. D. Check for any loose power connections to the fan. The recommended course of action is B. Replace the entire power supply unit. The power supply fan is crucial for cooling the power supply unit and preventing overheating. If it's not spinning at all, it's a sign that the power supply unit may be faulty. A. Attempt to replace just the power supply fan. This is not typically recommended because it can be complex and risky due to the high voltages inside the power supply unit. C. Use compressed air to clean out any dust in the fan. While this can help if the fan is just blocked by dust, it won't help if the fan or power supply unit is faulty. D. Check for any loose power connections to the fan. The fan in the power supply unit is typically directly soldered to the unit's PCB, so there are no connections to check. 15. You are troubleshooting a computer that won't power on. You have already checked the AC outlet and the power cord, which appear to be functioning properly. What should you do next? A. Test the computer with a PSU tester. B. Plug the computer into a different outlet. C. Check that the RAM is seated correctly. D. Install a UPS. The next step you should take is A. Test the computer with a PSU tester. If the AC outlet and power cord are functioning properly, the issue may be with the power supply unit, PSU, itself. A PSU tester can help determine if this is the case. B. Plug the computer into a different outlet. While this could potentially solve the issue if the problem was with the outlet, you've already checked the AC outlet and found it to be functioning properly. C. Check that the RAM is seated correctly. While improperly seated, RAM can prevent a computer from booting. It wouldn't prevent the computer from powering on. D. Install a UPS. A UPS, uninterruptible power supply, provides backup power in case of power outages, but it wouldn't help if the computer isn't powering on at all. 16. You are troubleshooting a computer that displays a bootable device not found error during startup. Which of the following steps should you take first? A. Update the BIOS firmware to the latest version. B. Verify the SATA data cables are properly connected. C. Run the disk defragmenter utility. D. Install the latest storage driver. The first step you should take is B. Verify the SATA data cables are properly connected. A bootable device not found error often indicates that the computer is not detecting the hard drive or SSD during startup, which could be due to loose or improperly connected SATA data cables. A. Update the BIOS firmware to the latest version. While this can resolve some issues, it's not the first step you should take, especially since the computer is not recognizing the bootable device. C. Run the disk defragmenter utility. This utility is used to optimize your hard drive's efficiency, but it won't help if the system can't recognize the drive in the first place. D. Install the latest storage driver. While having up-to-date drivers is important, the system should still recognize the bootable device even with outdated drivers. 17. A user reports that their computer is responding very slowly when accessing files on their hard disk drive, HDD. Which of the following could be potential causes? Select 2. A. The HDD is nearing full capacity. B. The HDD is overheating due to poor airflow. C. The HDD is heavily fragmented. D. Malware infection on the HDD. E. Faulty SATA power cable connection. The two potential causes for a computer responding very slowly when accessing files on a hard disk drive, HDD, could be 1. A. The HDD is nearing full capacity. When a hard drive is nearly full, it can cause the computer to slow down. This is because the operating system needs free space to function efficiently. 2. C. The HDD is heavily fragmented. Fragmentation occurs when a file is not stored in a contiguous space but spread out across a drive. This can slow down the speed at which data is accessed because the HDD has to work harder to piece the file together. Other options like overheating, B, malware infection, D, and a faulty SATA power cable connection, E, can cause issues, but they are less likely to result in slow file access on the HDD. Overheating and a faulty power connection would likely cause more severe issues like system instability or failure to boot, while a malware infection could cause a variety of symptoms, not just slow file access. '18. You are configuring a new RAID 5 array on a server motherboard that has integrated RAID support. Which of the following steps should you take first? A. Update the motherboard BIOS to the latest version. B. Change the SATA mode from AHCI to RAID in the BIOS. C. Install the latest storage driver for the RAID controller. D. Connect all hard drives to the dedicated RAID ports. first step you should take is B. Change the SATA mode from AHCI to RAID in the BIOS. Before you can configure a RAID array, the SATA mode in the BIOS needs to be set to RAID. A. Update the motherboard BIOS to the latest version. While this is generally a good practice, it's not the first step in setting up a RAID array. C. Install the latest storage driver for the RAID controller. This is an important step, but it typically comes after the SATA mode has been set to RAID in the BIOS. D. Connect all hard drives to the dedicated RAID ports. This is also an important step, but it comes after the SATA mode has been set to RAID. 19. You notice that one of the drives in your RAID 1 mirrored volume shows a degraded status in the RAID utility. What does this indicate? A. One of the drives in the mirror has failed or is missing. B. The RAID controller battery needs to be replaced. C. The parity data on the drives is corrupted. D. The RAID array is operating in a lower redundant mode. The degraded status in the RAID utility indicates A. One of the drives in the mirror has failed or is missing. In a RAID 1 mirrored volume, data is duplicated across 2 or more drives for redundancy. If one drive fails or is missing, the RAID volume can still function with the remaining drives, but it's in a degraded state because the redundancy is compromised. B. The RAID controller battery needs to be replaced. While a failing battery on the RAID controller can cause issues, it wouldn't typically result in a degraded status for a RAID 1 volume. C. The parity data on the drives is corrupted. Parity is not used in RAID 1. It's a feature of RAID levels, such as RAID 5 or RAID 6. D. The RAID array is operating in a lower redundant mode. This is not typically associated with a degraded status in RAID 1. The array will continue to operate with the remaining drives, but it's considered degraded because the redundancy is compromised. 20. You are reviewing the smart data for the drives in a RAID 10 array. Which of the following values in the status column should prompt further investigation? A. OK. B. Caution. C. Unknown. D. Both B and C. The values in the status column that should prompt further investigation are D. Both B and C. B. Caution. This status indicates that the drive has potentially problematic health parameters, which could lead to drive failure. It's important to investigate these issues further to prevent data loss. C. Unknown. This status means the health of the drive couldn't be determined, which could be due to a lack of smart support or other issues. This should also be investigated further. Remember, smart data can provide valuable insights into the health of a drive, but it's not a guarantee of drive reliability. Always keep important data backed up in multiple locations. 21. You are troubleshooting a SATA drive that doesn't function on a PC. When you try it on another computer, it works fine. You suspect a power issue and decide to take voltage readings from the SATA power connector coming from the power supply. Which of the following readings should you find? A. 5 volt and 12 volt. B. 5 volt, 12 volt, and 24 volt. C. 3.3 volt, 5 volt, and 12 volt. D. 3.3 volt and 12 volt. The correct readings you should find are C. 3.3 volt, 5 volt, and 12 volt. A SATA power connector has multiple pins that provide different voltages. Specifically, it should provide 3 volt, 5 volt, and 12 volt. These voltages are used to power different components of the drive. Remember, incorrect voltages can cause a drive to malfunction or not function at all. If the voltages are not as expected, it could indicate a problem with the power supply unit. 22. Imagine you are a technician working on a client's computer. The client is experiencing problems with their video playback. You decide to gather more information about the system's graphics capabilities. Which Windows utility would be the most appropriate to use in this situation? A. Registry Editor, regedit. B. System Configuration, misconfig. C. DirectX Diagnostic Tool, dxdiag. D. Task Manager. The most appropriate Windows utility to use in this situation is C. Direct Diagnostic Tool, dxdiag. The dxdiag tool can provide detailed information about the video card, drivers, and other multimedia components, which can be helpful in diagnosing video playback issues. It's specifically designed to troubleshoot DirectX related issues, which include graphics and video playback. The other utilities have their uses, but they're not as directly applicable to this situation. A. Registry Editor, regedit. This tool allows you to view and modify the system registry, but it's not typically used for diagnosing video playback issues. B. System Configuration, misconfig. This tool can be used to modify startup settings and services, but it doesn't provide detailed information about graphics capabilities. D. Task Manager. While Task Manager can provide some information about system performance and running processes, it doesn't provide the detailed graphics information that dxdiag does. 23. Imagine you are an IT support specialist. A project manager is about to give a crucial presentation, and they're using a laptop connected to a projector. During your initial tests, you notice that the image on the projector starts to flicker, but the laptop's display is fine. You try altering the laptop's resolution, but the flickering persists. What should be your next course of action? A. Adjust the settings on the projector. B. Inspect the video cable for any connectivity issues. C. Modify the aspect ratio settings on the laptop. D. Verify the power cable's connection. The best choice is B. Inspect the video cable for any connectivity issues. The flickering on the projector, despite a stable image on the laptop, suggests a possible issue with the video cable. It could be loosely connected or damaged, causing intermittent signal loss, which results in flickering. A. Adjust the settings on the projector. This might not solve the problem, as the issue seems to be with the connection rather than the projector settings. C. Modify the aspect ratio settings on the laptop. The aspect ratio wouldn't cause flickering. It mainly affects how the content fits on the screen. D. Verify the power cable's connection. A power issue would likely cause the projector to turn off completely, not just flicker, so this is less likely to be the cause. 24. You are an IT technician and a user comes to you with their smartphone. They report that they can't see anything on the screen. What is the first step you should take in your troubleshooting process? A. Begin disassembling the device for a thorough reassembly. B. Examine the volume mixer sliders. C. Confirm the brightness setting on the smartphone. D. Start the screen calibration process. The best choice is C. Confirm the brightness setting on the smartphone. Sometimes the screen might appear blank if the brightness is set to the lowest level. So it's a good first step to check the brightness settings. A. Begin disassembling the device for a thorough reassembly. This is a drastic step and should be considered only after simpler troubleshooting steps have been exhausted. B. Examine the volume mixer sliders. The volume settings wouldn't affect the visibility of the screen, so this option is not relevant. D. Start the screen calibration process. Screen calibration is typically not related to visibility issues, so this would not be the first step in troubleshooting this problem. 25. You are an IT technician working on a user's tablet. The user reports that the digitizer seems to be non-responsive. Among the following options, which is the least likely cause of this issue? A. A failure in one of the tablet's applications. B. A defective charging cable for the tablet. C. A loose connection in the tablet's display. D. An error made by the user. The least likely cause of this issue is B. A defective charging cable for the tablet. A defective charging cable would typically cause power issues, not problems with the digitizer. A. A failure in one of the tablet's applications. While it's less likely, a software issue could potentially cause problems with the digitizer. C. A loose connection in the tablet's display. This could indeed cause the digitizer to be non-responsive, as the digitizer is a component of the display assembly. D. An error made by the user. User errors could potentially cause a variety of issues, including problems with the digitizer. (26) A user approaches you, an IT technician, with a problem. The color printouts from their printer don't match what they see on their computer screen. The colors are noticeably different. Which two actions would be the most appropriate to take in this situation? A. Check to make sure that the printer's ink or toner cartridges aren't empty. B. Verify that the printer's separation pad is getting enough traction. C. Confirm that the paper being used for printing is not too thin. D. Execute the printer calibration tool to align the printer's color output with the computer's display. The two most appropriate actions to take in this situation are A. Check to make sure that the printer's ink or toner cartridges aren't empty, and D. Execute the printer calibration tool to align the printer's color output with the computer's display. Empty or low ink toner cartridges can cause color discrepancies between the screen and printouts, so checking the cartridges is a logical first step. Executing the printer calibration tool is also crucial. This tool aligns the printer's color output with the computer's display, ensuring that the colors you see on the screen match those in the printout. B. Verify that the printer separation pad is getting enough traction. The separation pad helps the printer feed paper properly. It's unlikely to cause color discrepancies. C. Confirm that the paper being used for printing is not too thin. The thickness of the paper can affect print quality, but it's unlikely to cause the colors to differ from what's displayed on the screen. 27. You are an IT professional and a user is experiencing issues with their printer. You decide that the best course of action is to immediately stop the print spooler service. How would you go about doing this? A. Initiate an immediate print job. B. Enter scconfig spooler start =, disabled in the command prompt. C. Opt to print directly to the printer. D. Enter net stop spooler in the command prompt. The correct action is D. Enter net stop spooler in the command prompt. The command net stop spooler is used to stop the print spooler service immediately. This service is responsible for managing all print jobs, and if there's an issue with the printer, stopping and starting this service can often resolve it. A. Initiate an immediate print job. This wouldn't stop the print spooler service. It would just add another job to the queue. B. Enter scconfig spooler start =, disabled in the command prompt. This command disables the print spooler service from starting up at all, which is not what we want in this situation. We just want to stop it temporarily. C. Opt to print directly to the printer. This wouldn't affect the print spooler service. It's a setting that bypasses the print queue, but it doesn't stop the service. 28. You are an IT professional and you're troubleshooting a computer that is experiencing a network issue. The network connection alternates between a working state and a non-working state, affecting all applications. What is the most likely cause of this issue? A. Jitter. B. Network congestion. C. Port flapping. D. High latency. The most likely cause of this issue is C. Port flapping. Port flapping refers to the state when a port on a network device, such as a switch or a router, rapidly changes between up and down states. This can cause the network connection to alternate between working and non-working states. A jitter. Jitter refers to the variation in the delay of received packets. High jitter can cause problems with voice over IP and video applications, but it wouldn't cause a network connection to alternate between working and non-working states. B. Network congestion. While network congestion can slow down the network, it typically doesn't cause the network to alternate between working and non-working states. D. High latency. High latency can cause delays in the network, but like network congestion, it wouldn't typically cause the network to alternate between working and non-working states. 29. As a network administrator, you're diagnosing a computer that is experiencing low RF signal and intermittent wireless connectivity issues. What is the first thing you should check in this scenario? A. Whether the computer has an IP address. B. If quality of service QoS needs to be configured. C. The distance of the computer from the wireless access point WAP. D. If there are any outdated equipment and cables. The first thing you should check in this scenario is C. The distance of the computer from the wireless access point WAP. RF signal strength can significantly decrease with distance. If the computer is too far from the WAP, it may experience low signal and intermittent connectivity. A. Whether the computer has an APIPA address. An APIPA address is assigned when the computer can't reach the DHCP server. While this could indicate a connectivity issue, it's not directly related to RF signal strength. B. If quality of service QoS needs to be configured, QoS can prioritize certain types of traffic, but it wouldn't typically affect RF signal strength. D. If there are any outdated equipment and cables, outdated equipment could potentially cause connectivity issues, but it's less likely to be the first thing to check when dealing with low RF signal. 30. You are a computer technician troubleshooting an issue for a user who reports that their computer has been running very slowly lately. Which of the following should be your first step according to the troubleshooting methodology? A. Review the computer's event logs for potential error messages. B. Ask the user about any recent software installations or system changes. C. Replace the computer's RAM modules to improve performance. D. Run a full system scan for malware and viruses. The best choice is B. Ask the user about any recent software installations or system changes. This is the first step in the troubleshooting methodology because understanding any recent changes can help identify the cause of the problem. A. Review the computer's event logs for potential error messages. This is a useful step, but it's typically done after gathering information from the user. C. Replace the computer's RAM modules to improve performance. This is a potential solution, but it's a drastic first step without knowing more details. D. Run a full system scan for malware and viruses. This could be necessary if malware is suspected, but it's not the first step in the troubleshooting process. 31. A user reports that their monitor is displaying a completely black screen. Which of the following should you check first? A. Verify the monitor is powered on and connected to the correct video source. B. Update the video driver to the latest version. C. Check the display resolution settings in Windows. D. Ensure the onboard video is disabled in the BIOS. For a monitor displaying a completely black screen, the first check is A. Verify the monitor is powered on and connected to the correct video source. This ensures basic power and connection integrity. Other options like updating the video driver, B. Checking display resolution settings or ensuring the onboard video is disabled in the BIOS, D. Are subsequent steps if the issue persists. 32. You notice that the image on a projector looks distorted and fuzzy. Which of these could be potential causes? Select 2. A. Incorrect refresh rate setting. B. Loose video cable connection. C. Burned out projector bulb. D. Video card overheating issue. E. Wrong video port selected as source. For a distorted and fuzzy image on a projector, the potential causes could be A. Incorrect refresh rate setting, and B. Loose video cable connection. The refresh rate affects image stability, and a loose cable can disrupt the signal. Other factors like a burned out projector bulb, video card overheating, D, or wrong video port selected as source, E, might cause different issues. 33. A user complains that their monitor shows streaks or ghost images from previous displayed content. What is the most likely issue? A. Dead pixels on the monitor. B. Image retention or burn-in. C. Incorrect color settings. D. Low screen refresh rate. If a monitor shows streaks or ghost images, the most likely issue is B. Image retention or burn-in. This happens when an image is displayed for a long period. Other possibilities like dead pixels, A. Incorrect color settings, or low screen refresh rate, D, typically cause different visual anomalies. 34. A gamer experiences a sudden display blackout while using a high-end video card. The computer remains powered on. What is the most likely cause based on the passage? A. Faulty monitor connection. B. Stuck pixels requiring software repair. C. Overheated video card throttling or shutting down. D. Corrupted video card BIOS requiring a reflash. The most likely cause is C. Overheated video card throttling or shutting down. High-end video cards, especially when used for gaming, can generate a lot of heat. If the card gets too hot, it may throttle its performance or shut down completely to prevent damage, causing the display to go black. A. Faulty monitor connection. While this could cause a blackout, the fact that the issue occurred during gaming suggests it's more likely related to the video card. B. Stuck pixels requiring software repair. Stuck pixels would cause small spots on the screen to not display correctly, not a complete blackout. D. Corrupted video card BIOS requiring a reflash. While this could potentially cause display issues, it's less likely to be the cause if the blackout occurred suddenly during gaming. 35. A user notices their phone becomes very hot while watching streaming videos. What is the most likely cause? A. A damaged battery needing replacement. B. Faulty display connection requiring repair. C. A recent mobile OS update. D. The streaming app being resource intensive. The most likely cause is D. The streaming app being resource intensive. Streaming videos can be demanding on a phone's resources, leading to increased heat production. A. A damaged battery needing replacement. While a damaged battery can cause a phone to heat up, it would likely cause other issues as well, not just when streaming videos. B. Faulty display connection requiring repair. This is unlikely to cause the phone to heat up, only when streaming videos. C. A recent mobile OS update. While an update could potentially cause issues, it's less likely to cause the phone to heat up only when streaming videos. 36. A user complains that their phone won't charge. There are no visible signs of damage to the charging port or cable. What should you recommend as the first troubleshooting step? A. Restart the phone. B. Check for software updates that might be causing charging issues. C. Clean the charging port with compressed air. D. Order a replacement battery online. first troubleshooting step you should recommend is C. Clean the charging port with compressed air. Dirt or debris in the charging port can prevent the cable from making a good connection, which could cause the phone not to charge. Cleaning the port is a simple and non-invasive first step. A. Restart the phone. While this could potentially resolve software issues, it's less likely to be the first step for a charging problem. B. Check for software updates that might be causing charging issues. Software updates could potentially cause issues, but they're less likely to prevent the phone from charging. D. Order a replacement battery online. This is a drastic step and should only be considered after other troubleshooting steps have been exhausted. 37. A customer reports that their smartphone's battery is draining rapidly even when not in use. After attempting basic troubleshooting steps like closing background apps and checking for software updates, you suspect a hardware issue. Which of the following tools would be most useful in further diagnosing the source of the battery drain? A. Multimeter. B. Battery monitoring app. C. Wireless diagnostic utility. D. System file checker. The best choice is B. Battery monitoring app. These apps provide granular battery usage data, identifying battery hogging apps and processes that could be causing rapid drain, even when the phone is idle. A multimeter, A, is impractical for diagnosing software-related battery issues on modern sealed smartphones. A wireless diagnostic utility, C, is useful for connectivity troubleshooting but not directly relevant to battery drain. A system file checker, D, verifies file integrity but does not provide battery usage insights. By pinpointing power-hungry culprits, a battery monitoring app is the most useful diagnostic tool for this issue. 38. There's a paper jam. Your printer has stopped working and you can see a crumpled piece of paper stuck inside. What should you do first before attempting to remove the jammed paper? A. Take the printer offline. B. Clear the print queue. C. Open all the doors of the printer. D. Turn off the printer. The first thing you should do before attempting to remove the jammed paper is D. Turn off the printer. Turning off the printer ensures safety while you're removing the jammed paper. It can also reset the printer's state and potentially resolve the issue. A. Take the printer offline. While this could prevent additional print jobs from being sent to the printer, it's less important than ensuring safety by turning off the printer. B. Clear the print queue. This could prevent additional print jobs from being sent to the printer, but again, safety comes first. C. Open all the doors of the printer. You would do this after turning off the printer to access the jammed paper. 39. A customer's desktop PC intermittently restarts without warning. After basic troubleshooting, you suspect a hardware fault. Which diagnostic tool would be most useful? A. IML Viewer. B. Event Viewer. C. Memtest 86. D. HDD Health Utility. The best choice is B. Event Viewer. It logs critical hardware and driver errors that could explain random restarts. An IML Viewer, A, shows hardware information but not logs. Memtest 86C tests RAM integrity but not other components. While relevant, an HDD Health Utility, D, narrows focus to just the hard drive when the root cause is unclear. 40. A laptop's USB ports aren't recognizing devices consistently. You've ruled out software issues. Which tool can help identify the hardware fault? A. Multimeter. B. USB sniffer. C. BIOS update utility. D. Thermal monitoring app. The best tool is A. Multimeter. It can test the USB controller chip and trace voltage levels on the USB data lines to pinpoint hardware failures. A USB sniffer, B, monitors USB traffic but can't diagnose physical faults. A BIOS update utility, C, is unhelpful since BIOS does basic USB initialization only. While useful for other cases, a thermal monitoring app, D, isn't directly relevant. There you have it. Hundreds of practice questions spanning the entire 220 1101 Core 1 exam. I hope this helped build your confidence and identify any areas for extra review. The A+ certification opens doors to so many amazing IT career paths. Put in the hard work, apply this knowledge, and that passing score is yours. Subscribe for more certification prep videos, and let me know in the comments what other practice content you'd find valuable. Thanks for watching, and best of luck.